Started up. Hello and welcome into the stream for everybody tuning in on YouTube, and for those of you who have already joined us on TikTok, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you giving us some of your time. Now, if you've never been here before, let me quickly tell you what we do. We debate Trump supporters. We try to get them from the right side of history, the political right, to the right side of history, the truthful right, insofar as everything that stands for reasonability, logic, and alignment with reality. And quite frankly, I think that the Trump administration is incredibly tyrannical. I think that the Trump administration wants to, succumb more power into the executive branch of our government, condense it to one man compared to the nearly 500 in Congress. This is why we see Donald Trump attacking the Constitution baselessly, trying to quote-unquote change it with executive orders. And I think that the Trump administration is absolutely useless for furthering American prosperity, only holds us back, only regresses the state of this country, and stress tests our democracy, our rule of law, and our Constitution. Now, if you've ever been here before, also we like to go over the breaking news at the start of every stream. And I think the one big thing that I'd like to hone in on today is the fact that I believe that America has failed us. There's an epidemic of senseless gun violence that is going unaddressed. Now, I'm going to take a guess. Many of the people watching this live have heard about the mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island yesterday, where a gunman opened fire on students, hit 11, injured 9, and killed 2. Now, this was a national headline. But what you may not know is since this shooting at Brown University, in the last 24 hours, there's been another mass shooting in Brooklyn, New York, where 2 masked gunmen stood outside of an event space. And when the people were leaving said event space, they opened fire and hit and struck 6 teenagers. And in fact, so far this year, we're around 350 days into 2025. There's been close to 400 mass shootings, averaging more than 1 per day. All right. And for every 100 mass shootings that occur, maybe 1 will make national headlines. The other 99 are swept under the rug and completely ignored. And then the one that does make national headlines is given incredibly dismissive and irremarkable comments by our government. Take Donald Trump's response to the Brown University shooting yesterday, who in response maybe spoke for around 10 seconds, saying that it is a tragedy and that all he can do is give his prayers and that we should do that same thing. So I don't think that we need more thoughts and prayers. I think that we need change in action. Okay? We need legislation. We need reform. And that is something that those in power have the ability to implement. Our legislators can end this epidemic of senseless gun violence that plagues this great nation, that continues to take the lives away from children in school, young adults on university campuses, and the lives of many Americans, such as the 6 teenagers that left that event last night in Brooklyn that were struck, but didn't die. Now, I would like to see a change from those in power. I would like to see new legislation, but that's just something that they haven't given us. And I think the only way to get it is to demand it. So I know that we just went over the breaking news. We talked about the shooting. But I think one thing I want to ask everybody watching the stream is just to be more mindful, more conscious, and more focused on this epidemic of gun violence. We all need to be talking about it. We all need to be doing our part. And we all need to be focused on this epidemic. And in response, everybody in the YouTube chat, sorry, not YouTube chat, everybody in the TikTok chat is just spamming Bondi. Guys, I don't know. I don't know what you guys are spamming Bondi for. I really wish that you guys would maybe focus a little bit more on, what we just talked about in reference to, the epidemic of senseless gun violence that we see in America today compared to, demanding that I talk about something else. Wait, Bondi, not Pam Bondi. My fault. Not Pam Bondi. Bondi Beach in Australia. Took me a second. Bondi Beach in Australia, there was also a mass shooting where 2 men attacked and committed an act of terror by unleashing, rounds fired out of their guns, pellets fired out of their shotguns towards a group of Jewish individuals celebrating a Jewish holiday on a beach. And I think that this is a global epidemic that is occurring in all countries around this world, some more prevalent than others. I mean, I read somewhere that in this decade, Australia's had 9 mass shootings. We've had 400 so far this year. Bonsai, I'm pretty sure is how Bonsai is I'm pretty sure how it's pronounced. Bonsai Beach. But in response to the Bonsai Beach terrorist attack. A Muslim man, I forget his name. I read it earlier. I can't remember it now. Was a hero and stopped the
Hello?
One moment, sir. And stopped the two shooters by walking up to one of them, wrestling him for the shotgun, causing him to flee, and in the process got shot twice in the arm. So, yeah, that's the news for today. I think that we all need to be much more conscious of this violence. Now, we already have our very first Trump supporter of the day loaded into the stream. I'm going to pass the mic to you at this point. If you want to take it away and tell us how the hell... 1 second. Cat,
Hello?
as always, hey man, you're still
Dan,
connected to the
I'm sorry,
stream.
the stream was freezing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Cat, I really appreciate
yeah,
you so
no, the
much for the
stream-
lion. Thank you so much for your kindness. Cat, we have Queen Cat tuning in every single day on TikTok. Always showing some love. Queen Cat is in the building. Thank you for the lion. As always, Cat, that is just so insanely kind of you. Please, while we're hopping into this debate, guys, show some love to Cat down below in that chat. You know, I think that we all need to be more mindful of this epidemic of senseless gun violence that continues to take the lives of innocent men, women, and children. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and hop into that first debate. Queen Cat, good to see you. Thank you for the lion. John, the mic is yours. Take it away. How the hell do you still support this tyrannical wannabe dictator, Donald Trump, as president? Did he leave? John, buddy, the mic is yours. We've heard you talking this whole time. You've been patient. John's gone. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and leave John up on the live. You know, we'll let him do his thing. Now we would love to hear from him because he's still technically connected. We just don't know where he went. I guess we'll just go to get somebody else up in the meantime. Kaylee, what's up? Do you support Trump?
This is episode number 6-7. You like 6-7?
Okay. Please don't troll today, guys. We don't have too long to be on live. In fact, we only have 3 hours left of our live stream. So please just make sure that we're honoring that, you know, following the rules too. Be at least 18, be a MAGA and be an American when you're hopping inside of that queue. It really mean a lot to me. We're going to move on to our next guest right now, guys. Only hop inside of that queue if you're an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, please. We had John connected, but John left. No clue where he went. Moving on to the next guest right now. Kimberly, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, who says, hey, Dean, greetings from snowy Connecticut. Today is also my 13th anniversary. Today is also the 13th anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting. How it didn't stop there. Yeah, guys, today's a day that we should all be mindful of gun violence. Thank you for the $10, Kimberly. I appreciate you for the love. I'd also like to very quickly thank Eli for the $5 over on Venmo and Serena with the $5 as well. Moving on to the next guest right now, Raven. Thank you so much for the really cool gift that I don't know the name of. Thank you, Raven. All right, what's going on, Finboy Faron? Do you support Trump?
Dean with his 2042. I love you.
All right, guys. I don't know what I could say or do to like get you guys to not troll. John, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. You're back, man. So, John, we're going to pass the mic to you. Tell us why you support Trump. I think one thing that you said before we even started the live stream on YouTube is that you support Trump to counter the woke DI nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Well, the villainization of whiteness is the opiate of the left. You know, and we see this in the summer of 2020, the Gaza protests, the ICE protests, the importation of the third world into Western civilization. It's all the same thing, which is the villainization of whiteness. So what the left essentially believes along
I need to ask you a question about something you've already said, if that's okay.
Western civilization is an authority. Right.
So you just said the quote unquote importation of the third world. I just think that that's a very crude and bigoted way to talk about the immigration of individuals into this country. And you said that villainizes white people. So how does immigration villainize white people?
Well, in Western Europe, we see an essay crisis and rioting. Here in the U.S., you know, for one thing, it's a national security issue. You know, I actually lived in Colorado. I left there less than a year ago. I was actually just kind of out by Denver, and I left because there were gang members taking over apartment complexes from Venezuela. You know, and
okay. Well, if you actually, so where did you live?
I lived there, man.
Where did you live? Where did you live?
I lived in South Denver, Highlands Ranch.
So you lived in Highlands Ranch, and you left Highlands Ranch because of something that you think happened in Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, just generally, like Colorado's become a blue state. I mean, it has a lot of good points to it, but I think
I don't think that you've ever lived in Colorado because Colorado, specifically the Denver, the metropolitan area, has been blue for a very long time. Now, the reason why it was a more purple state in the past isn't because Denver was any less blue, but rather because the surrounding districts were more blue. Okay, like for instance, Mesa County was a little bit more blue. Montrose and surrounding area was a little bit more blue. Delta was more blue. And then all the cities along the interstate were a little bit more blue, but not Denver. Denver's always been blue. So I think that you're lying about about claiming that you lived in Colorado.
Not lying.
Not to mention that if you truly did live in Highlands Ranch, you just said that you lived in Highlands Ranch. Highlands Ranch is an hour away from Colorado Springs.
No, I know it is. I lived there in 2012. I lived in Highlands Ranch, and then in 2014 I moved down to Colorado Springs, and then actually I moved back up to Castle Rock a couple years ago. So, yeah, and then I left about a year ago. So
wait. Okay. So Castle Rock, even that's not Aurora. Yeah. And like they claim that there's Venezuelan gang members taking over apartment complexes was when Aurora. You really chose the wrong talking point because I also live in Colorado. I lived in Boulder for years. Right now I'm living in Grand Junction. This is just a terrible talking point. Also, if you knew anything about Aurora, well then you would know that the claim that Venezuelan gang members were taking over apartment complexes was made with no reason, no evidence whatsoever. Now there was some crime in Aurora. There has been crime in Aurora. It's a higher crime area compared to other places in Colorado. And what we saw were a handful of gunmen go into an apartment building and try to take it over. Now even the mayor of Denver, gave a public press release saying that no, these were not undocumented immigrants. No, these were not Venezuelan gang members. This is just a baseless claim made on made with no reason, no evidence, just in the furtherance of the goal of an attempt to further demonize undocumented immigrants, to try to demonize immigrants as a whole. And the only reason why Donald Trump perpetuates this rhetoric and you fall for it is because you're likely bigoted as he is. If you knew the facts, then you know that undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit a violent crime on American soil when compared to the average American citizen, such as yourself. And I don't really think that you care about crime. You also briefly mentioned an SA crisis in Europe. Well, I don't think that you care about SA either because you made an adjudicated SAer, an adjudicated rapist, Donald Trump, the president of the most powerful country in the history of planet Earth. And then also, you argued, right, that this immigration into America demonizes whiteness. And that's the question that I asked you. How does immigration into America demonize whiteness? And instead of giving me a direct answer to that question, you instead spent that time rattling off misinformation surrounding quote-unquote Venezuelan gang members in Aurora and an SA crisis in Europe.
Well, I'll try and answer you directly. Okay, back a couple years back, anybody that questioned what was going on with the mass immigration was just called a racist. They say, what do you have against black and brown people? So that's why I say that whiteness is villainized. Look, man, I'll give you an example. Do you know who James Lindsay is?
I think that what you just gave me is a real big straw man. I want to respond to that real quick. So having nuanced conversation about immigration, our immigration policy, and what is best to do with undocumented immigrants, wouldn't inherently imply that one person inside of that conversation is racist. However, what is true is that more often than not, in having this conversation surrounding immigration, it reduces down to bigotry, right? Like the typical way that this conversation will go when I have it with somebody on live is they'll say, well, we need to stop immigration into America. We need to deport all undocumented immigrants here, right? Because they hurt the economy, right? Because they increase crime rates, because they erode the social and moral fabric of this country. And then I go through every one of those points. We talk about how undocumented immigrants are beneficial for the economy, offering them a pathway to residency or citizenship would make our economy more prosperous than it's ever been. And then you still yet defend it. You still say that we need to get rid of them. We move on to the second talking point surrounding crime. I'm like, well, they actually reduce crime rates. If we were to remove them, we'd see more crime in this country. And then you still defend the deportation. Move on to the third talking point. And basically we get through all of the arguments that one could possibly give me in support of mass deportation. And then by the end of that conversation, they're left with no good reason insofar as why they would support this policy. And more often than not, I'm able to demonstrate how their ideological goals of making the economy better, reducing crime rates, having less crime on American soil would align with other policy like mass amnesty, yet you still deny it and defend mass deportation. And at that point, I would argue the individual that I'm having the conversation with is more likely drawing their support for mass deportation and anti-immigration policy from bigotry or, potential xenophobia/racism. So I don't want you just to straw man it, take away that nuance, make it 1D and argue that, people on my side of the aisle are villainizing whiteness. Because, I think it's wrong when people make bigoted arguments with no good reason to support mass deportation. Not to mention, right, are you arguing that only white people support less immigration? Because I think that statement in of itself, which is an implicit assumption to argue that therefore we're demonizing whiteness, would be required in order to argue your position, which in of itself is bigoted.
Dean, look, man. I know this is blasphemy to the left, but the average IQ of sub-Saharan Africa fluctuates between the high 50s and low 70s. In Northern Africa, it fluctuates between the mid 70s and low 80s, and same with the Middle East. Okay, Europe is facing a civilizational collapse, and if it wasn't for Trump, we'd be facing the same thing, man.
Okay, so you're going to completely ignore literally every single point that I made to then just make a new point. No, I got it, and I can respond to this one too. Could you please explain to me? Could you please explain to me why the average IQ of a white person in America is higher than the average IQ of a white person in the Middle East?
And the white person in the Middle East?
Yeah. Why is the average IQ of a white person in America higher than the average IQ of a white person in the Middle East?
Well, the average IQ of a white person in America is 100. What is it in the Middle East? I mean, but in the Middle East,
I think it's around like 93.
White people in America, average, look, I'll break it down for you. East Asians in America is 105. White is 100. Black people are 85.
Can you answer my question?
Well, but I don't understand your question. White people in the Middle East, they're not white.
There is
in Europe.
There's white people that live in the Middle East. I understand that it's not predominantly white people in the Middle East. However, there is still some white people that live in the Middle East. And when we look at average IQ scores in a country like America, where white individuals hold more systemic power, have access to more resources, and a higher quality of education, compared to particular countries inside of the Middle East, there's higher IQs reported. Because IQ scores are inherently reliant on access to resources, access to education, and so on and so forth. And that's why I think it's incredibly bigoted for you to sit here and argue and try to make a correlation between somebody's race and their IQ, when in all reality, more specifically, we see a correlation between somebody's IQ and their access to resources and access to education. Okay? Right? So in countries with systems that will benefit individuals of a particular race, such as America benefiting white people, more so than maybe particular countries in the Middle East would benefit white people, because in this country, right, every single president we've had but one has been white. In this country, it was built, by the oppressing class of white people on the backs of slaves that have now attempted to hold power systemically and socially since until now, right? Obviously, white people are going to have access to more resources. The average white student in American schools is going to have access to more funding per student compared to the average black student. Then, of course, the discrepancies of socioeconomic standards in this country when you compare white individuals to members of other races, such as black individuals, we're going to expect them to have higher IQs on average because of those facts. And even when you're talking about Africa, for instance. So you made a distinction between sub-Saharan Africa and then, Africa that's either part of the Sahara or above Sahara. Well, what we see is that on the continent of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa has access to less resources, is more prone to exploitation from the West, such as we see the extraction of minerals and valuable resources from the Congo, who's also experiencing an active genocide. And you're telling us that there's lower IQ scores reported in sub-Saharan Africa compared to otherwise, which demonstrates, right, this isn't a fact of eugenics. This isn't a fact of race realism, and this isn't a fact of a correlation between an individual's race and their IQ, but rather a question of what kind of impact does access to resources have on an individual's expected IQ, right? And by the way, I thought that we got done with race realism like hundreds of years ago. Phrenology is false. Race realism is false. And there's no studies or scientific evidence that would demonstrate that your level of intelligence or IQ is predicated on what the color of your skin is.
Okay, how would you explain that South Korea has an average IQ about 104 and North Korea has an average IQ of about 99? They're pretty close.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I think that this actually just further explains my point. Predicated predicated on an individual's race and ethnicity. North Koreans, at least as far as my knowledge goes, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, anyone, are ethnically and racially of a very similar makeup to South Koreans,
Right.
North Koreans and South Koreans.
But it's much more
Yet we
poverty
see
in
a
North.
discrepancy, right, within reported IQs, which, by the way, I don't know if we have any reliable indicator of an average IQ in North Korea. That stat just kind of seems speculative or made up, but still yet we're seeing that there's a lower reported IQ from individuals in North Korea compared to South Korea, even though they are from a near identical racial and ethnic demographic, simply predicated on access or lack thereof to resources.
But it's close, Dean. It's only a few points off. So that would look. I think it is. I think IQ is part genetic, part culture, part environment, right? But the fact that North Korea lives in extreme poverty. Go ahead, Santana. How you doing?
I was just gonna say really quick, Dean, if you don't mind, because I didn't like I was just sitting here listening, enjoying, actually cleaning, and said, "Hey, Dean's on. Let me listen to a few dog walks." And I did not think that we would be diving into
Race realism?
racist tropes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, really quick, John. What does IQ stand for?
Intelligence quotient.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure you know. Now, understanding what IQ stands for, you understand how the IQ testing works, correct?
Yeah, there's different some it's verbal, some of it's visual. So there's mathematical problems.
Yeah,
Like
not necessarily the actual like how you facilitate the testing, but more so how the testing is constructed. Uh, Pretty simple. The way that it's made, the actual testing is biased in the sense that it's not made for certain people. And Dean, like, I literally cooked on everything that I was going to speak on. You can talk about the actual access to resource. You can talk about the preparation. We see this with not only testing like the IQ test, but SAT, the ACT, whatever other tests young people take now. But like all of these different types of testing, and it's definitely connected to not only the access to resources, but the ability to regurgitate certain things, not necessarily comprehension. So John, I mean, like to actually sit here and say, well, the average IQ of Black people are lower versus da da da. I mean, that's nonsensical. Question for you, John. If there is a rooster that sits on top of a roof and the roof is pointed and it lays an egg at the very top of the house, right? Which way does the egg roll down?
hens lay eggs, not roosters.
Right? You got it. So
Right.
most people listening, they would have been trying to figure out which side is the egg gonna roll down versus actually picking up on the fact that it's a rooster, not a hen. But that's how IQ tests work. So it's not about actual intelligence. It's about different things that you can pick up on with that type of testing. The point that I'm trying to make is making some type of false equivocation is just absolutely asinine. And I mean, you can just say it with your chest. You're sitting here speaking to the great replacement theory, and that's why you're trumpeting the whole point that whiteness is being vilified.
Well, what I was trying to explain, well, just real quick, I'm just kind of joking here. Unless the hen identified as a rooster, I guess maybe that'd be possible. This is the way the left thinks, right? With you say T women or women.
Yeah. So every single time I made a point to him, he just goes on to talk about a new topic. So I mean, expect that from John, right? Like, if you're gonna come up here, right, claiming like racial superiority for white people because you think that they're most intelligent, please don't act like a total dumbass, okay? Right? And just like you're your own counter argument, buddy. Please engage with the arguments provided and respond to the substance detailed by Santana.
Fair enough, Fair enough, Dean. Go ahead.
He was talking to you, John.
Yeah, I was talking to you. Like, respond to what Santana already said.
Okay. Well, look, I do think that this is why I brought up James Lindsay. Okay, and what I was trying to tell you about was James Lindsay. Do you all know who that is? He's a PhD mathematician, right? Very very sharp guy. Do you know who he is? If you don't, it's okay. I'm not trying to play gotcha.
Yeah, heard the name. Don't know anything about him.
He wrote. Yeah, he wrote a book with I think it's Helen Pluckrose and Peter Boghossian called Cynical Theories, and they submitted these hoax papers, right? They tried to submit about 20. This goes back to around like 2017, 2018 time, and what they basically did, so they were pointing out the absurdities of how the left and how the left is captured by this deranged ideology, right? And what he did is he basically took Mr. Mustache's manifesto, right, and he just changed the word. changed the word Jewish to straight white men,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was accepted as an academic paper,
Okay.
It wasn't.
right? So this is
It
why I'm
wasn't.
trying to point out.
That's
Go ahead.
actually incorrect. So funny thing is, John, have I spoken to you directly, or have I just had this conversation with someone? Because it had to
I've
be you, and we went through this already. So the amount of papers that were submitted, while it was actually submitted and reviewed, there were what 40 something papers written, and then somewhere between 7 to 10 of them were accepted, and only one
right.
of them was actually submitted and published. And even with that, there was no identification as far as who actually published it. So the premise that this is something that's reliable, that you can stand on, it's a false statement. It's not something that passed the smell test. And even when it comes to like academics, scholarships, like it didn't make it out of the gates. It's literally just people trying to see how far they can push some type of weird ideology that, oh, the left is vilifying white men or whatever, and that's not the case.
Look, I think there's two types of straight white men. There's Dean and there's me, right? Dean will feels that there needs to be forever kowtowing and groveling and talking about white privilege, and then there's me that says fuck this. I ain't doing this. Okay, we have a first world American empire because of straight white men. All right,
That's
and just
not
look,
true.
this is the reason why the left has villainized.
Yeah, I have a
and
question.
feminized young
Do you
white
do you
men.
think that the
This
quote unquote
is why-
straight just quick question. Do you think that the straight white men would have been able to start building this empire if without the labor of enslaved black people?
Yes, but it would have been harder. That's a fair point.
Okay. So yeah, no. So I don't think that they would have. I don't think that would have been possible. I think that the creation of the quote unquote American empire was inherently reliant on the free and exploited labor of forcefully enslaved Africans. So I think when you try to come up here and make that point, right? Oh, straight white men build this empire. Straight white men are the ruling class and should be. All right. That
Primarily.
it's just reliant on false premises driven by your own biases and racism. Not to mention, when I think about some of the worst decisions made throughout history, more typically than not, they're made by straight white men. Okay. Like Hitler. Oh wow, the Holocaust. That's a really bad one. What are some other really bad ones? Well, we're talking about one right now. Slavery. Who ran that? Straight white men ran the
Gomez de
transatlantic slave
Zurara.
trade. Right, exactly. We could continue to go down and down this path, and seemingly, if we want to think about 4 or 5 heinous things that have happened throughout history, they're done by straight white men. If you want to try to use the argument of the fact that straight white men have disproportionately led America, therefore straight white men are culpable for the creation of these quote unquote great empires, well, because straight white men are disproportionately responsible for some of the most heinous and terrible actions throughout this world's history. They're also disproportionately culpable for the demise of the human race. Now, I think that you came up here just to try to debate your own bigotry, and every single argument that you've made has led to you getting absolutely cooked, and this is why you continue to try to bring
I
up a
don't
new
think
point
so.
or make a new one, right, when proven wrong. You know what I mean? Right? Like the first question I asked you was, how does immigration into America demonize white people? You tried to make a point about you leaving Colorado because Venezuelan gang members overtook apartment complexes in Aurora. I very swiftly and promptly proved that one false. We talked about how there's no evidence that they're undocumented immigrants that were members of a Venezuelan gang, and that was just a claim made by Trump, and that it's actually been refuted by the mayor of Denver. You then very swiftly and promptly moved on to talking about IQs. I then give you a very common sense and understandable reduction insofar as why we'd expect individuals with access to more resources to have higher reported IQs. I gave you a fact that white people in America have higher reported IQs on average compared to white people in the Middle East. We go through access to resources. I even use, your own statements talking about sub-Saharan Africa compared to Africa that's not sub-Saharan, or North Korea compared to South Korea. Then Santana wrapped in a couple points as well. And then, you had no response. So then you just continued on with your tirade talking about, Mr. Lindsay changing the words of the Mein Kampf. And then, Santana shot that shit down. And then the last thing that we heard from you is that I don't know, you're about to say that Nick Fuentes is our galactic emperor. So, I mean, I ultimately think that
No,
your
I'm
beliefs. I think that your beliefs, have been effectively, rejected on live by me and Santana, and I also think that they've been effectively rejected throughout history too. I mean, it's not like an emerging scientific conclusion that race realism is false. This is something that this is a consensus that has been upheld by scientists for the last 100 years. So. I really hope that one day you're able to reject your own bigotry and reject your own prejudice to become a smarter, better person for yourself and the world around you. I don't think that you would be able to do that. And just by the way, everything that you're trying to paint immigrants to be, everything that you're trying to paint black people to be, everything that you're trying to paint brown people to be is what Trump truly is. Okay? You talk about violence, you talk about idiocracy, you talk about a low level of intelligence, you talk about a low level of emotional regulation. Every single thing that you've referenced is true of the straight white man running the country that you support. He's an adjudicated rapist. He's a 34
Why'd
count
he win?
felon. He's incredibly unintelligent. I mean, he thinks that
Trumped
coal
up
is clean
charges.
and that
Which one?
human-caused climate change doesn't exist and we just don't know it yet. And I think that that's something to be grappled with. All of these negative traits that you try to apply to members of BIPOC communities that you use to describe your disdain that you hold towards them are in all reality only true of the president that you praise. Please respond to that.
Okay. Yeah. Were you for the lockdowns in 2020 and 2021 during C-19?
Oh my God.
I don't see how that relates to a single point that I made.
Really quick, Dean. I'm sorry.
I'll
I'm
relate
sorry.
it.
Hold on one second,
Were you
John.
for the
Dean,
protests? In the
yeah,
summer
John,
20?
just
Go
hold
ahead.
2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Dean, I have to say this.
Go ahead.
I'm sitting up here and I feel like a proud papa. Like, just listening to you. Oh my God. I just the biggest grin. I feel like a decoration at this point because you fucking
Thanks, man.
chef's kiss. Listen, I was gonna hang out, but at this point, like, you got it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do my thing. Also, really quick, thank you to Mary for the 10, Frankie for the 2, and Danielle for the 10. But like, Dean, you fucking got it. I'll be listening.
Santana, if you want to come up at all today, feel free to hop in that queue. You're always welcome, man.
All right, bro. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Dean,
We
I'll
love
relate
Santana
it.
here. So could you please respond to the points that I made?
Yeah, I'm trying to relate this. Okay. Were you for the protests in the summer of 2020?
In 2020,
protests?
I was pretty young. I don't really remember them too well. Obviously, I think that American citizens exercising their First Amendment right to freedom of assembly and protest is a good thing. I think that violence is a bad thing. I think that rioting is a bad thing. So I would say that there's a lot of positive attributes and some negative. But I would like you to respond to the point that I made surrounding the fact that everything that you project onto members of minority communities, black and brown people, immigrants, in all reality are true of the president that you praise. And I honestly don't really see how the BLM protests would be relevant to a response to this claim.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you how hypocritical the left is, because if we're all locking down to save grandma, why would you
Exactly.
crazy
So now you're trying to make a
people?
point of hypocrisy of the left. Could you please respond to the point of hypocrisy that I made clear of yourself? Okay. It seems like you only want to
Look.
talk about the left. It seems like you only want to talk about the left's hypocrisy.
eyes
It
left.
seems like you only want to talk about, right, what you project on minority communities. But what you can't talk about is what you support. What you can't talk about is your own hypocrisy. What you can't talk about is your own projections. All right. It wouldn't put it past you if you were a Christian or at least claim to be one. What does Jesus
I'm an
say
ally.
about focusing on, the twig in one else's eye before the log in your own, right? So I'm asking you to focus on the log in your own eye. I'm asking you to respond to the point of hypocrisy that I made clear of yourself. And quite frankly, if you continue to play this game of pivoting, if you continue to play this game of deflecting, then what that tells me is that you know that you're a sad, hypocritical POS, is that you know everything that you say to be true of minorities is in all reality just true of you and the person that you supported and praised as president of the most powerful country in the history of planet Earth. So at this point in time, I'd really like you to attempt to respond to that claim. If you can't, if you bow out because you know what I'm saying is true, you just don't have the spine to admit it because you're a little boy, not a real man like me, feel free to let me know.
Look, man, I think it's fair to say that I am racist. But I think of racism more as on a scale than all or nothing of like 1 to 10, right? So if 5's neutral, between 6 and 10 is an unfavorable opinion, between 1 and 4 is favorable. Yeah, it's fair to say that I'm a racist toward black people at about a 7, but it's actually higher toward like Arab people and people from India.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're fucking racist. You say, hey, I think black people are violent. You say, hey, I think black people are terrible, unintelligent, all of these things, right? Then you get fucking destroyed by me and Santana. That was great. And then I bring up this point of hypocrisy. I bring up that the person that you support as president is violent. I bring up this point of hypocrisy. The person that you support as president is dumb. I bring up this point of hypocrisy. The person that you support as president is culpable for, one of the largest domestic terror attacks on this country and its capital in modern American history. Was found guilty by grape in a civil court of law. 34 felonies, a criminal one in the state of New York. All that you have to say in response to this is, Dean, I'm just racist. Okay, so in other words, what it sounds like is what you're saying is, Dean, I just don't care about reality. I just don't care about fact. I want to engage in fiction because that better serves my preconceived biases. And, my favorite thing about white supremacists like you, because I do have a favorite thing. Can I tell you?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. And I legitimately love this for you. I do. I love it about you. Genuinely love it. Is the fact that, the racists, the white supremacists, the Nazis, y'all are going to spend the rest of your life in a perpetual and persistent perpetual and persistent place of discomfort in the world around you because you will never get what you want. America will never be a white country. America will never only speak English. America will always include black people. America will always include brown people. America will always include Arab people. There will always be Muslims in America. There will always be Jewish individuals in America. There will always be women in America. And that's something that your racism will not be able to change. So you are going to live the rest of your life in discomfort. You're going to live the rest of your life in pain. You are going to live the rest of your life in a perpetual state of unhappiness because you're never going to get what you want. And I love that for you.
Dan, how are women and homosexuals treated in a lot of places in the Islamic world? Such as Iran and Gaza.
Well, quite frankly, what I'd argue, what I'd argue is better than the way that you'd want to treat them.
No. Dude,
Absolutely better than the way that you want to treat them.
Dean,
and listen, I understand that homophobia is global, misogyny is global. Okay, women and gay individuals can be treated like shit in every country around the world. There are gay individuals executed for being gay. There's women, that are condemned and socially scrutinized for being women, 110%. But what I can say is that likely in many places on the face of this earth, they're treated better than the way that you'd want to treat them. Do you think that men are better at leading than women?
You cut out there. Say again?
Do you think that men are better at leading than women?
No, not necessarily.
Do you think that it's wrong to be non-straight?
No, I believe in tolerance. I'm just against the glamorization of homosexuality.
What does that mean?
It means that drag time story hour and gay pride parades are inappropriate for young children to see. It's corrupting the minds of children. It's corrupting them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I think is truly corrupting the minds of children is to have you come on a live stream in front of 14,000 people and say that you're racist and others should be too.
Well, I'm just saying. I think that racism more is
I don't think that there's anything wrong with pride parades. It's a celebration of inclusivity. You said that you're an ally to the Christian community. I think that you should be celebrating that inclusivity too, but you obviously don't. And by the way, because I made a pretty damning point there. You brought up, well, how are women and gay people treated on the global stage? And I said better than you probably want to treat them. And then of course you had to refute that premise. So when I asked you what your thoughts are on women, what your thoughts are on gay people, you said it's not wrong to be gay and men aren't better at leading than women. So I just want to ensure that you'd say that a lesbian woman could serve this country as president just as good as a straight cis white man, right?
Possibly, sure.
Well, at least I got you to say something that you don't think is true, making you very uncomfortable, just to get you to try to argue against another point that I made around 30 seconds ago. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Honestly, I kept that guy up for way too long. Only op instead of that cue of Yappa to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. I'd really appreciate that from y'all. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. We got Champion MAGA loading up. I don't know if this is the real Champion MAGA. It's possible that it's just a troll. Are you the real Champion MAGA?
I'm the troll. I love you. I'm going to keep doing it.
Get out of here. Moving on to the next guest, guys. Only op instead of the cue of Yappa to be American and MAGA. Yo, Jesse! Thank you for the $5 on Venmo, who says better than a cup of coffee. Cheers to you for always standing up for women. Thank you. Well, thank you for the $5, Jesse. And oh my God, Kevin and wait. Another one. Kevin and Stephanie. Thank you both for the $100 over Kevin with $100 on Venmo and Stephanie with the $100 on YouTube Super Chat. What the fuck, dude? We're not even an hour into the stream and you guys are showing up and showing out. I do not deserve that level of love. That is nuts, dude. Thank you guys. I want to see so many Kevin W's and so many Stephanie W's in both of the live chats. Kevin with $100 says, thank you for being one of the good straight white men per your guest's criteria. Well, Kevin, thank you for the $100. You are insane. You are the GOAT. Show some love to the man, Kevin, down below in that comment section. And the woman, Stephanie, down below in that comment section, the second GOAT for the $100 on YouTube Super Chat, who says, hello, Dean. This is just because of whatever the day might bring. Well, my day is going to bring a whole lot of traveling and, $20 snacks in airports. So, I really appreciate you, Stephanie. Show some love to Kevin and Stephanie down below in that chat. The two all-time uncontested GOATs, dude. Welcome into Sport Trump.
Hey, I'm kind of a fan of yours. I was just wondering if you're gonna do any kind of stream where we can ask you questions. Like I have questions for you, but
I'm going to answer that question. However, I'm going to kick you because in this stream, we were just looking for MAGA. But yeah, hopefully we should do something like that here soon. But I appreciate you for coming on, but please in the future, just follow the rules. We're doing a much shorter stream today than usual, so please make sure that we're following the rules, everybody. Welcome in Tacos, do Sport Trump. Tacos, hello? Nope, they're gone, guys. We're going to go to put the rules back up on screen. Only join if you are 18 plus, American and MAGA. All rule breakers will be permanently banned. There's literally 0 exceptions that we're going to be willing to accept today. Then also for everybody watching, I don't know why, but we seriously need so many viewers in order to find one Trump supporter that's willing to come up here and debate. So please, if you're watching, spam that comment section, share the live around, double tap on that phone screen. Please, 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 please. We have 4 people to thank on PayPal. Thank you, Brandon, for the $5, Frankie with the $5, Thomas with the $5, and Yelly, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Sorry, that's not Yelly, that's Kai. And then Catherine with the $10, who says, I cannot wait for your presidential run. I don't know if I'll ever do that, but thank you for the love, Cat. I want to see 100 Cat W's, 100 Kai W's. Show some love to Thomas, Frankie, and Brandon too. Appreciate you guys all so much for the love. We're going to go ahead and get that next guest loaded up into the box right now, y'all. Make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Share not that live. Y'all already know it. Really helps the live send out. So hopefully we'll be able to find a Trump supporter to come up here and debate with us, just because nobody seemingly is down to do it right now. Let's go to get the next group of people loaded up into the stream. Welcome in. What is going on? Braden, do you support Trump?
Hello?
You support Trump?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, guys.
Yeah, I support Trump.
Okay, what about
Yes,
you?
I do.
Okay, so you guys both support Trump. So it looks like we got a 2-for-1. Well, that means what we're going to do a 1v2. Let's just confirm ages real quick. Braden, how old are you?
19.
9. What about you?
Call me Caleb.
Caleb, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, 18 and 19. Sounds good, folks. Well, we're going to try to make this super quick. Both of you guys support Trump. Let me ask you one question. Do you guys think that Donald Trump is a threat to the rule of law?
No, he's all right.
No, I don't believe so, no.
So how could you guys possibly argue that Donald Trump is not a threat to the rule of law, considering the fact that in the last 11 months, he's attacked the rule of law, including the highest order of rule of law, that being the Constitution? An example of this attack on the Constitution would be when he belligerently and intentionally infringed on the 14th Amendment with Executive Order number 14160, designed and targeted to attempt to take constitutional protections like birthright citizenship away from the children born to undocumented immigrants on American soil, even though they've had that right guaranteed to them by the Constitution since the ratification of the 14th Amendment in 1868.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one, buddy.
All right, so listen, I'm not as factual as you are. Okay, I will admit that freely. Okay, you're popping off these numbers over here. All right, look, I stand by my morals and my beliefs. Okay, I truly believe that these illegal immigrants should not be, villainized like they are. Okay, and for Trump to sit here and villainize them over and over and over, all of them, including all of them in all of his statements, that is wrong. Okay, this guy has made mistakes, and he is, he has what do you
So
call
I
it?
just want to
He
clarify.
has faults.
You didn't respond to my point at all. I appreciate you for
I'm
saying
getting
that it's.
there. I'm getting there. I'm
I
sorry.
appreciate you for saying that it's wrong to demonize undocumented immigrants. And actually, the demonization of undocumented immigrants is the rhetorical pathway that he's chosen to try to slightly justify his attack on their constitutional rights. Like he's literally trying to argue that citizens aren't citizens. He's trying to argue that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to the children.
Constitutional rights.
Okay, and you have
Illegal
no brain.
immigrants have no constitutional rights.
And you have no brain if you think that's true, because
Illegal
they absolutely
immigrants
do.
have no constitutional rights.
I could prove to you that you're wrong.
I would love for you to do that.
In 1989, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the Plyer v. Doe court case that the third section of the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protections Clause, applies to undocumented immigrants in America, meaning that they have equal protections under the law and rights offered and protected by this country. Not to mention that when you read the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, it becomes clear that you're wrong, because it doesn't say all citizens in America have a right to due process. It says all people in America have a right to due process.
Okay, I think the citizenship was implied there. But just for the sake of this conversation, we can say,
Okay, well, guess what?
if the Supreme Court says it, it must be true, right?
Who determines implications? That would be the Supreme Court. And by the way,
Absolutely.
I could give you a really big glaring issue in your argument here.
Sure, go ahead. I'm always open.
Are you pro-choice all 9 months in all 50 states?
Absolutely not.
Why? Because fetuses aren't citizens until birth. That's when they get their social security number.
Murder is murder.
Therefore, it's not murder, legally speaking.
It is murder.
I could explain to you why that's not the case under your review if you'd stop interrupting me. It's not murder, legally speaking, in accordance with your view, because it is the case that you think constitutional protections are only given to citizens. Because a fetus is not a citizen, therefore that fetus has no constitutional protection to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, meaning that there would be no legal barrier to prevent a woman from killing the fetus inside of their womb, since that fetus, under your view, has no legal rights nor any legal protections.
Okay, but where in the Constitution does it say that murder is like, it's not part of the Constitution? Murder is a law. Murder is a moral.
Well, according to you,
unethical
according to you, only citizens have a legal right to life.
No, I did not say that.
Oh,
I said
okay.
no.
Okay, so
I said-
non-citizens have a legal right to life. Well, where do they get that from if it's not the Constitution?
God.
God doesn't give you a legal right to life. He gives you a moral one.
True. My bad.
Right.
Okay.
But and you specifically said that fetuses have a legal right to life.
Well, they should.
Okay. But your argument is that they don't. So you're saying that we should extend constitutional protections to non-citizens since you think that fetuses should have a legal right to life?
Okay, hold on. Whoa. Abortion and illegal immigrants are two completely different subjects. And now you're trying to combine them into one.
But fetuses...
By saying fetuses are non-citizens.
But fetuses and undocumented immigrants would exist in the same category under your view of being non-citizens
Not
that do
necessarily.
not have
No,
any
not at all.
constitutional protections.
No, not at all.
Yes, because you told me that the Constitution implies that the rights in which it offers and guarantees to those in which it protects are only protections for citizens. Like, remember when we were talking about the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, and I was going over how it says all people have a right to due process, all people have a right to protection against unjust infringement on their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And then you said, well, I think what is implied here is that it's just citizens, not people, specifically citizens, meaning that you would be making two categories here, citizens and non-citizens. And if you're in the category of citizens, you have these constitutional protections. If you're in the category of non-citizens, you don't have these constitutional protections.
Okay, well, this is where we get into that gray area between is it a child or is it not? Okay, because people believe, I can tell you believe a fetus is a fetus. It is not a child yet.
But it doesn't matter if it's a child,
right?
It doesn't matter if it's a child. It matters. Oh, but well,
According to the Constitution,
then all of a sudden your argument is thrown out the window. Because can we agree that 4-year-old undocumented children are children,
Yeah.
even though they're undocumented?
Yeah, of course.
So
they're children.
therefore, because they're still children, although they're undocumented, they still have constitutional rights and protections due to the fact that they are children, which is your argument in the context of fetuses. So why can't it be my argument in the context of undocumented immigrants?
What? Okay. Whoa, buddy. All right. The Constitution it gives rights to those born in America, correct? It gives rights of citizenship to those born in America, correct?
Well, guess what? First and foremost, no, that's not completely true. But even if you are to operate off the premises that the Constitution only gives rights to those born in America, then you are still, in fact, arguing that I am right when I call Donald Trump a threat to the Constitution, because he specifically tried to take constitutional rights away from those born in America.
Okay, but you could also argue that certain people on the left are threats to the Constitution because they want to take away the Second Amendment.
Well, actually, the only
Argument goes
president,
both ways.
the only president to infringe on the Second Amendment are rhetorically call for an infringement on the Second Amendment. In the last 3 presidency was Trump in his first term and Trump in his second term.
How?
How?
I would like to know how.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. I got you. In his first term, he passed a bump stock ban. Ultimately, SCOTUS ruled that was unconstitutional and an infringement on the Second Amendment. And in his second term, around 3 months ago, he directed his DOJ to try to find a way to ban any and all gun ownership for all law-abiding trans-American citizens. That was such a large threat to the Second Amendment that even the far-right NRA that you probably love publicly spoke out against the Trump administration and called that a call for the termination of the Second Amendment.
Wow. Thank you for clearing that up.
So now Donald Trump isn't just a threat to the 14th Amendment, but he's also a threat to the Second Amendment.
I still support him over the past presidents, though.
Well, precisely. So then that means that you don't really care about the fact that he's a threat to the Constitution. You don't care about the fact that he's a threat to the rule of law. But then you care so much about undocumented immigrants breaking a single federal misdemeanor.
No,
They want to
I do
strip their
not
humanity
care.
away, strip their legal
Listen.
protections away, and
Hey,
deport
listen,
them
man.
illegally with no due process to a center for terrorists in El Salvador where they're beat, tortured, and starved, like Abrigo Garcia was after he was illegally removed by the Trump administration.
Hey, listen, man. I'm no John. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm racist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do all that. That was crazy. Okay. That was crazy. I think we all agree in this live. We all agreed that was crazy. Okay.
Bro.
Look,
All
man.
right, let's really get to the nitty gritty of it. Trump supports Israel, and he just gave 650 million more. So that's why we should be supporting Trump. Why are we supporting him based on, what did you say, gun rights?
Dude, why are you
Israel.
coming at me?
How would you
Why
feel
is
Are
about...
you not pro-Israel?
Hey,
Why
Brayden.
Israel?
Yo, listen.
He just gave the greatest ally in the Middle
I'm
East.
gonna refocus away from you to Brayden for a second here, Caleb. Caleb, got a
Okay.
question. Are you pro-life like Caleb is, Brayden?
What?
Are you pro-life like Caleb is, Brayden?
What is pro-life?
Okay,
Like,
of course,
I
the
want people to
Zionist doesn't
live?
know what that
Yeah.
means. Like, you think it's like murder for a woman to go get an abortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. So then how do you feel about Donald Trump giving $650 million to Planned Parenthood to kill more children?
All I care is that he's giving money to our greatest ally in the Middle East.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
answer my question, please. How would you feel if Donald Trump were to give $650 million to Planned Parenthood to kill more innocent children?
That doesn't change my mind. He's giving money to our
I'm
the
not
best country in the
I'm
world.
not asking you if that changes your mind.
Israel.
I'm asking you how you would feel if he were to do that.
I wouldn't change my mind on him positively or negatively.
Wait, so
As
you
long
would
as he keeps getting money to Israel, we're good.
okay? So if Donald Trump were
As
to
long as I keep getting that 7 bands,
so if Donald Trump were to reinstitute slavery in America, would you still support him if he was still giving more money to Israel?
no.
No. Okay. So obviously you know
As
what
long
Donald
as I
Trump
keep
does.
getting 7 bands a month,
7
I'm good.
bands a month
yeah.
from where?
I mean, we don't gotta disclose that, but you know,
Okay, Braden's trolling. Caleb, you're
Seven
the
bands.
you're the only Trump supporter on the live. He was making a joke that he's paid by Israel. Just back to you, Caleb. Take it away. I would really love to hear a response from yourself to the specific points that I brought up to demonstrate that Donald Trump is a threat to the rule of law, a threat to the Constitution, a threat to the American way, and how I think that you're a hypocrite for caring about undocumented immigrants and their misdemeanor, but not caring about Donald Trump and his infringements on the Constitution, his 34 felonies, and his adjudication.
Never said I don't care. I didn't know.
Okay, well now you
I
do
didn't
know.
know about the Second Amendment thing. So
Okay,
thank
no
you for
worries.
informing me.
Yeah,
Really.
of course, man. So at this point in time, do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, why?
Okay. Let's see. He rejects the left's woke ideology
Okay, so
that is poisoning our society and our morals.
okay, I want you to give me a very clear and clean-cut example of the left's quote-unquote woke ideology that is poisoning society and our collective morals.
Like John said, the drag race, the drag shows, the popularization of transgenderism, open homosexuality, and all of this is immoral. It is wrong.
Okay. So
Completely
first and
wrong.
foremost, transgenderism isn't a word. Your lack of a third grade education is completely wrong. Second of all, drag individuals
It is a
aren't
word.
necessarily trans.
Okay.
And then third of all, you said there's something wrong with being openly non-straight. Now we have to use the phrase non-straight on TikTok, or else we'll get flagged for hate speech. So why is it wrong to be
Okay.
openly non-straight?
Because it is against God's word.
God's word. So where in the Bible does it say it's wrong to be openly non-straight?
Thou shalt not lie with men, like lying with, like sodomy, all of these words, it's wrong.
So
It
first and
literally
foremost,
says,
that's the action of engaging in non-straight intercourse. And that's an argument I could refute as well, but this is a linear dialogue. So we're just going to begin with a conversation surrounding why you think it's wrong to be non-straight. So being non-straight would be to possess same-gendered attractions, and possessing same-gendered attractions is different than engaging in same-gender intercourse. So what is the biblical justification that it is wrong to possess same-gendered attractions?
man shall not lie with man, woman shall not lie with woman.
Do you know what verse of the
Woman-
Bible that's in?
I do not have, dude, I don't have the whole Bible memorized. I know that is a verse though.
I do. I know. So that's either Leviticus 18:22 or Leviticus 20:13. So are you telling me
Okay.
that the moral code described in the book of Leviticus is accurate and true today?
No, not all of it. Obviously not. Obviously not all of it. The world
Okay.
has changed, and
So
Jesus came.
So
you know,
why would you say that some of the morality described in Leviticus is accurate, but some other principles of morality described in Leviticus aren't accurate? How do you determine what moral teachings inside of the book of Leviticus are and are not accurate?
because let's see, women no longer have to leave the camp if they are on their time of the month and have to lay there unclean for however long. That's not true anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's not a thing.
So you're not answering my question. I'm asking you, what is the framework that you use to determine what moral teachings in Leviticus are accurate and what moral teachings in Leviticus are inaccurate?
If it matches up with how Jesus taught and how the apostles
So basically, if Jesus said something opposite or contrary to what was said in Leviticus, then it's no longer true.
I feel you're about to refute me pretty big here.
Yeah,
So,
I am, because if we want to,
You got something coming. You got something coming.
If we want to trust your framework here, well, then therefore, because Leviticus 45 verses 44 through 46, Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 say that slavery is okay, and nowhere
Absolutely
in the New
right.
Testament does it explicit. What?
I'm saying that's true. I'm saying that's true. Like slavery is not okay, but Leviticus says it is.
Okay,
I'm saying
just
you're
affirming
correct.
That Leviticus
You're
says
correct.
It is.
Yes.
And
Yes,
because
absolutely.
nowhere in the New Testament, nowhere in the Gospel does it explicitly say that slavery is not okay. Therefore, in accordance with your argument, if it's wrong to be gay, then it's right to own slaves.
No, that is not how you should be taking this at
How
all.
so?
Because enslaving, okay, first of all, nobody should serve anybody except God. Nobody should kneel at anybody's feet except at the foot of God.
That's not what God said.
Isn't it though?
No. Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, God says that you may get your male and your female slaves from the countries around you. However, you can't enslave one of your own. He basically told the Israelites that they could enslave people that aren't Israelites. It even explicitly said that they may own them as human property for life and even bequeath them as property to their children when they die. So,
Okay.
once
But,
again,
but may I remind you that back then
your
slaves
argument
were
is
normalized, right? Slaves were part of life back then. Am I wrong? Slaves were an inherent part of their culture.
You're super wrong, because what happens in Exodus?
The Israelites were slaves.
Yeah, and what did God do?
He helped them escape.
Yeah, he unleashed 7 plagues and famines on their enslavers to eradicate and kill them all to ensure that they weren't victims of slavery. So if your argument is that God was saying that slavery was okay because slavery was normal, then why the hell would he kill the Egyptians by unleashing 7 plagues and famines on them if he was
Because that's
okay
what
with
you
it
get
because
for
it
not
was
believing
normal?
in God. Because they didn't believe in God.
Okay, so
They didn't believe in him.
so
That is
the argument is that he didn't unleash those plagues and famines because his people were enslaved, but rather because the enslavers didn't believe in God. So you think that it's worse to be an atheist than to be an enslaver?
it's woo, good question. Okay. I probably should have gotten more sleep last night. So to be an atheist is it doesn't get you anywhere after life. Okay. To be an enslaver, you can, at the end of your life, confess your sin and be forgiven. But to be an atheist, unless you turn to God, then by some people's beliefs, you go to hell.
So your statement is maybe it is worse to be an atheist than to own slaves. So in America,
Yeah.
being an atheist is legal. Being a slave owner is illegal. Do you take problem
Right.
with that?
No.
But I thought that being atheist was worse, and it's the only one of the two options that's legal.
Because America stands for, freedom of religion, tolerance. You can do whatever you want.
Wait, no, but now you're saying
that's their
But now
problem.
you're saying
That's-
a freedom to be or to do something that is worse than owning slaves is something that you agree with?
Because it's not worse for society or worse for other people. It's just worse for that person. Whatever they do to themselves is their problem. Okay.
Okay, so now I
Does
think
that make
we're
sense?
now I think that we're equivocating on the way that we're using the term worse here. So you're arguing that it's worse for an individual to be an atheist than to own slaves, but only for themselves, not for others.
In God's eyes. In God's eyes, but
in
only if
God's
they,
eyes. Okay.
repent their sins. If they repent their sins about
Okay.
being
Wait,
an enslaver or
is
whatever.
God always right?
You know what I'm saying?
Is God always right?
Is God always right? Yes. God is always right.
So therefore, whatever is true of God's eyes should also be true of your eyes.
Absolutely.
So if it is true in God's eyes that it is worse to be an atheist than to own slaves, that should also be true of your eyes. So you would argue that we should all think it's worse to be an atheist than to own slaves. So if we should all think that it's worse to be an atheist than to own slaves, then we should all reject a system in which criminalizes owning slaves, but does not criminalize being an atheist.
But is everybody in America Christian?
No, which you would argue is worse than
And the church is separated from the state.
What you would argue is
correct?
worse than everybody in America not owning slaves.
That's just for me. That's my opinion. It doesn't mean it has to be a law.
Yeah, that's fucking.
If it was a
that's
law,
fucking crazy. That's crazy, dude. Would you ever vote for an atheist to be president? A non-Christian to be president?
Maybe if I honestly do think I would, but
Would you ever vote for a gay person to be president?
no, I don't believe I would. No,
But I thought that we just agreed that it's worse to be an atheist than to be gay, or to own slaves, or to like do anything that you think is a sin.
because atheists can still have
Oh,
a good moral compass.
wait.
To be
wait,
non-straight means that your moral compass is off.
Oh, wait. So first and foremost, you just refuted this logic. You're turning it around. You said that it's literally worse to be an atheist and to reject God, right, than to be gay.
I didn't say you
or
couldn't
to
have
own
good morals.
slaves, right? So therefore, why would we argue here that you can be an atheist and possess good morals, but you can't be gay and possess good morals?
Because being non-straight means that you go against biology just for some attraction that has no real use in society. There is no use for it.
Well, come on. What's worse, under your view, going against biology or going against God?
Going against God is worse.
Okay, and from your view, comparing a gay
the
person to an
spiritual
atheist.
world.
One moment. From your view, comparing a gay person to a straight to a straight atheist person, which one is going against biology and which one is going against God?
Gay would be going against, or
Biology.
non-straight would be going against biology, and atheist would be going against God.
Right. So then therefore you'd
Okay,
argue that
so-
the atheist would have a worse moral code than the gay person. Also, by the way, it doesn't go against biology to be gay. In fact, our biology explains
It
why
does.
we are gay.
So can two men have children?
Can two men have children? Assuming your definition of a man, absolutely not.
Exactly. So
anal intercourse won't lead to children. That's what I mean to say.
Absolutely, you're correct. So why would you say that they? Why would you say that it's not wrong? Why would you say that it's not? It doesn't go against biology. Why would you say it doesn't?
For the same reason that you'd argue it's not wrong for your parents to engage in sex. If your mom is over the age of 60, she's likely infertile due to going through menopause. They can't have kids. You don't think it's wrong?
No, because
Oh.
man shall not lie with man, woman shall not lie with woman. But man,
Yeah, well, I mean, we've
lie-
already
man shall
disputed.
lie with
So
woman.
we've already
Okay.
disputed that verse, right? In arguing that we should accept the moral teachings of the Book of Leviticus and the Christian Bible, you're also, in virtue of that fact, arguing that we should accept slavery because Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 say that slavery is okay.
So, sex for pleasure is
Also, I just once again
Not-
honestly, I should have called this out, and I'm going to call it out now. Engaging in gay sex is not identical to being gay. Being gay is possessing attractions to the same gender, not engaging in sex with the same gender. So why specifically is it wrong to possess the attractions?
because it means that you want the sex, and
Is that you
lust
wait.
is also a sin.
Wait. But lust isn't a sin just for like gay people. It would also be a sin for straight people. So that's not going to be
You're right.
specifically entailing
But
that therefore it's wrong to be gay,
worse.
or else it would also entail that it's wrong to be straight.
All right, so you're going in circles around my point. So
I
my
am.
point
I'm
is-
absolutely sending your point in circles because if you want to argue here that like lust is wrong, gay people can lust, therefore being gay is wrong, straight people can lust, therefore being straight's wrong. All right, and you're about
No.
to say that one is worse than the other. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that one sin is worse than the other sin outside of blasphemy. So you're already arguing from a a non-Christian perspective.
So straight. Okay, so let's say you're a straight person and you lust for somebody. Okay, that is a sin. To lust for somebody is a sin.
Okay, but
But
it doesn't make
if
being
you-
straight wrong. So then why does it make being gay wrong?
Because being gay is wrong.
Why? Why are same-gendered attractions wrong?
Because it goes against how God made man and woman.
That's
It
just not
goes
true.
against. Yes, it does. Yes, it is.
I can
It is- it
explain
is
to you how that's not true.
1000% true.
I can explain to you how that's not true. Did
I
God
would love
design
for
you
you
in
to
your
try
mother's
that.
womb?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore God designed gay people in their mother's womb too, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you
and-
believe you're,
okay,
you're
sure.
gay? So you
So you
believe
just
you're gay
argued-
from the moment you're born?
I believe that individuals are born with biological predispositions to be gay the same way that I was born with the biological
Okay.
predispositions to be 5'9". And we know this is a scientific fact because when we look at the science on the subject matter, what we see is that gay men have a larger anterior commissure in the context of the human brain, which is the nerve lining between the two hemispheres of their brains. That is a biological predisposition to be gay. B, they also have various associations along the genetic code that straight men don't typically have, such as an association along the XQ23 chromosome that is a biological predisposition to be gay. Gay men also have variant traits of the AI-NEH3 subsection of the hypothalamus, such as different dendritic densities, different neuronic activity, and different levels of particular neurohormones, such as FSH. Those are all biological predispositions to be gay. Therefore, because these biological predispositions are hard-coded into us from birth, and God designed us all, including gay people, inside of the womb, and by the way, he's a perfect designer. Not only did God design people to be gay, but he also did so perfectly. Therefore, being gay is perfect if you accept that God is a perfect, benevolent, all-powerful designer.
So, but by your argument, if he's a perfect, all-powerful, benevolent designer, then didn't he design us to sin? No, that is Satan, the devil, or evil temptation, right? Tempting us to go against God's word to keep us for him.
Well, actually, God designed us with the ability to sin. God designed us with
Exactly.
free will. Okay,
And God did-
right?
exactly,
Right? Because
free will. Thank you.
we're talking about the biological preconditions that God made, and these biological preconditions include what makes people gay, not what makes people allow to have the choice to be gay. Because being gay is not a choice, but literally the biological predispositions that make them gay, very similar to the biological predispositions that I possess that made me 5'9", that made my eyes blue or my hair blonde.
Okay, well, the biological predispositions to being gay can be resisted, unlike your blue eyes and your blonde hair and your white skin.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't change that.
you can't
You
stop
can
being gay.
change.
You can't stop being
Yes, you
gay.
can. Yes, you can.
No,
Yes, you
because that
can.
implies that our sexual orientation is a choice. Okay, which it's not.
It is.
Okay,
It is
can you choose?
1,000%.
Okay, does this mean that you could choose to be attracted to me right now?
Yeah. I mean, eventually, sure.
Yeah?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want
okay.
to.
So I
don't
want
want
I
to.
want you to prove that to us. So what I want you to do is I very quickly want you to choose to be attracted to me. Verify this with evidence by telling me that you're attracted to me, but then quickly choose
I'm
back.
not.
But then quickly choose back.
That's not how.
What's that? You're starting to cut out.
Sorry, I cut out for a second. That's not how it works. See,
So it's not a choice.
your environment around you, the people around you, and the things you do growing up, the things you read, the things you watch, and all that, they influence you. They influence you. If you read the Bible growing up, and if you go to church, or if you don't go to church,
This is
you're more likely
this
to
is
be straight.
also this is also, by the way, another false argument, because your environment cannot influence the size of the anterior commissure in your brain, yet gay men have a larger one. Your environment cannot influence associations on your genetic code, yet gay men have an association on the XQ23 chromosome. But even if they could, this would still imply that it's not a choice, right? Like, for instance, people that live in towns with steel mills in them live significantly shorter lives on average because of the pollutants in that city's air. Now, that was their environment influencing them. Now, did they choose to live a shorter lifespan because of the pollutants in the air in the area? Absolutely not, because rather their environment forced it on them. So if you're arguing that one's environment would determine their sexual orientation, then you're still arguing that people can't choose their sexual orientation, as it is rather forced onto them by their environment. But still yet, it is not true that your environment can impact your sexual orientation, else all of the scientific facts surrounding the biological predispositions that I've already gone over 3 times with you are things that we wouldn't expect to see. Not going to church doesn't change your neuroanatomy, okay? Not being Christian doesn't change the associations on your genetic code. Yet we see these dispositions to be true of gay people and false of straight people. How do you explain that?
So your environment, I include your environment not only as, the air, the things around you, but the people around you, the things you watch, the things you do, all of that.
But those things can't impact your anterior commissure or genetic associations. So
that doesn't matter. It
explain
can impact your will.
Well, it does matter because it does matter because then why do we see these associations in gay men that we don't see in straight men if it's all environmentally driven and environment can't change these
I didn't
things?
say it was all environmentally driven. If I take your word for granted here, and we do have true genetic predispositions to being gay, okay? No, you don't need to scoff at me. It's okay.
Well, I am scoffing at you because you're wrong, and I feel like you should know it. I feel like I'm very obviously describing to you why you're wrong. An environment is what you are attributing to the cause of being gay, while also accepting that an environment cannot onset these biological predispositions that are dimorphic amongst individuals with different sexual orientations, like the size of your anterior commissure, like the traits and size of your AINH3 subsection of your hypothalamus, or like the associations along your genetic code. Your hypothesis is strictly disproven by the scientific evidence that we know has proven to suggest these dimorphic traits of the human genome, of the human neuroanatomy, and biology as a whole, that are true of gay people and false of straight people. You cannot explain your hypothesis, justify your hypothesis in knowledge of these facts of the dimorphism of the biology of straight people compared to gay people. You can't.
So but you said yourself that we have free will, correct?
Yeah, but guess what? Free will can't change your genetic associations, like free will can't change the color of your eyes.
You're right. But
there's no explanation. There's no explanation.
I don't see how you liken being gay to having blue eyes. That is not in. There's no possible way it is that inherent to your being
And the only reason
your
why
genetic code.
and the only reason that you make that argument is because you're a homophobic bigot who doesn't care about reality, doesn't care about what the facts are, doesn't care
And
about
I
what
would
the
like to
evidence
point this out.
suggests, but just cares about what you were told growing up inside of a incredibly conservative echo chamber.
So here,
How
I
can
would
you
like
sit,
to,
how can you sit here and tell me that there's no possible way that the science would onset your sexual orientation when that our biology would onset our sexual orientation when that's what the science tells us, and the science contradicts any hypothesis that you've set forth insofar as what you think decides our sexual orientations? What is your evidence that being gay is a choice? What is your evidence that being gay is onset by your environment? What is your evidence that you're right? Because I've given you evidence all fucking day long. I've given you so many different data points. I could give you study after study after consensus. What can you give me?
what can I give you? My own experience, buddy.
What does that mean?
All right. I don't even care who's in this live. I don't care. I came out as bisexual in senior year, last year. Okay. I had a boyfriend.
Oh boy. Yeah. And this is this is the
So,
way it goes most of the time.
No, just listen to me, okay? Just listen. So I eventually him and I broke up and high school ended, right? So I started to get closer to my faith back in October and I read the Bible more, I prayed more. I realized that for me to be that way is wrong. And I am not that way anymore. I completely repent of that sin and I am completely straight.
Yeah.
No other, I have a girl I'm talking to, okay? I've had girlfriends since then. That's it. And I can tell you that the people around me, the people I was hanging out with at the time, the things I was watching at the time, they all pressured me to get with him, to explore this part of myself that I should just not have given into that temptation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it actually does. It makes perfect sense. I am no longer mad at you. I just feel bad for you. Because from my perspective, as a straight man, I'm just going to throw on mute because there's a little bit of background noise. From my perspective, as a straight man, the concept of changing my sexual attraction is just as alien as ET. Because it's something that I know I can't do. It's something that I know I couldn't achieve if I tried. Okay? But from your perspective, you see things differently. You are not a straight man, you are a bi man. And being a bi man, that means that you are attracted to both men and women. And what you've experienced in the last year, 2 years, is a pressure to subjugate yourself to a suppression of your attractions towards men. And you are confusing a choice to suppress your same-gendered attractions as a choice to only be attracted to women. And that is very easy to confuse because they seem quite similar to one another, but they aren't. A choice to suppress your same-sex attractions is not the same as a choice to only be attracted to women. Now, this is why study after study after study after study has demonstrated time and time again that closeted gay men are more likely to be homophobic than straight men. It's because it makes that confusion easier. And,
so you think
I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm really not trying to be an asshole here. This has now just completely shifted my perspective from like wanting to get real angry at you because of what you believe to instead wanting to help guide you towards the truth and help you overcome this confusion that you're experiencing onset by heteronormativity. It's all too often we hear from guests on this live stream that the issue is a push for people to be gay, that the issue is a push for people to be a member of the LGBTQ plus community, an issue to indoctrinate our youth into boys liking boys, girls liking girls, men liking men, and women liking women, when in all reality, the real issue, right, is heteronormativity, which is a push for people to be straight and a push for bi men like this guest to suppress their same gendered attractions, which they then confuse as an intentional and conscious choice to be straight.
So I don't agree with you on the fact that you're saying that the problem is the pressure for a heteronormal society. Okay, I don't think that is the problem. I believe the problem is the push for more LGBTQ plus members in the society. I believe that is the problem.
The push.
They're normalizing.
All the pushes from the LGBTQ plus community, people on the left, gay people, bi people, lesbian people, allies like myself, is just simply, right, a push for you, right, feeling confident in being you. Is a push for you feeling allowed to express yourself the way that you were made and the way that you can't change. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's what it boils down to.
So what do you think I should do as me? What is your opinion on what I should do?
I think that you should accept yourself for who you are, because who you are is not a demon. Who you are is not immoral. Who you are is not regressive to society, but rather progressive in a positive direction. There's a lot of social and even evolutionary advantages towards being bi, being not straight. That's why we see in our closest genetic relative, the babonos, an emergence of homosexuality over the course of the last 50,000 years, because it serves the evolutionary purpose of social advantage, which is important in the hierarchy structure of society, which is where survival of the fittest has been pushing towards since the culmination and creation of society, interestingly enough. And I think that you shouldn't be scared to love who you love and to be with who you want to be with, as long as it is inside of a consensual adult relationship, right? It's not wrong to explore who you are inside of these relative bounds. And it's also not wrong to explore your faith, because there's many people who are Christian. There's many people who serve Christ, and there's many churches that will teach his preachings that will accept you for who you are.
So I don't know if you can hear me clearly or not. I am driving right now. I believe that I was wrong, that it was truly temptation that led me to do that. That is my belief, and I accept myself for who I am. And I am no longer who I was back then, because, people do change. It is possible to change.
Hey, sir.
Now, you may not
Sir.
agree when I say I can change from
I'm
being
sorry.
bi to being straight.
I'm sorry, sir. You cannot be driving on TikTok Live, unfortunately. Unless you could pull over or something, I'm gonna have to move on.
No, I'm riding. I'm not driving. I'm riding, but like I'm saying, we're driving down the road.
Oh, like you're in the passenger seat?
You want me to turn my camera on? Yeah, I'm in the passenger seat. Do you want me to verify that by turning my camera on and showing you? Or?
I trust you. I trust you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not actually driving while doing it. Like, that would be stupid. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. Like I said, you may not believe me when I say that, I can change from being bi to being straight, but I believe that I was never truly bisexual. I was just led to believe that by the temptations that I felt, the people who told me to feel this way, and the, Satan getting in my mind thinking that it was okay. And that is my belief, and one thing I would like to make clear to you is that everybody can have their own opinions, and you do not have to get angry about their opinions. Okay, you do not have to feel any kind of way, because opinions don't hurt you.
Here's the thing. Your opinion is harmful. Your opinion drives people to self-unaliving. Your opinion causes individuals to suppress a part of themselves that shouldn't be that shouldn't be suppressed, and you're an example. Last thing I'll add on here is that your opinion has already been tried and proven false. Okay, right? You're not the first quote unquote ex-bi-man, ex-gay man that has had this quote unquote revelation that your sexual attractions are a choice and onset by your environment and can be changed by a different environment. And in fact, this was the fad. This was the normal. This was what was promoted in America from the 60s towards early 2000s with the emergence of convergence therapies. And all of these, sorry, not convergent. What are they called? Y'all got to help me out here. It's very close to the word convergent therapy. It's just, I know the word's not convergent. I'm going to wait for the chat to, I'm just having a brain fart here. I'm having a real big brain fart on what the name of the therapy
Convulsion?
is. It's a therapy conversion. Wait, no, it is conversion. No, I am right. There you go. I am right. It is conversion therapy. I don't know why I thought I was wrong. I don't know. I just the conversion. I don't know. Brain fart. Anyways, continuing on with what I'm saying here. So anyways, to get back to what I was saying, your idea here has been tested and tried and proven false. This was a fad. This was the normal. Conversion therapies were big in America from the 1960s until early 2000. And every single one of these large conversion therapies that told men such as yourself that if you're struggling with same-sex attractions, you could come to this therapy and we'll make you straight, were actually ran by men such as yourself that claim to be a bi-man, an ex-gay man, and it worked on them, and they'll do it on somebody else too. And the thing is that these conversion therapies showed absolutely no efficacy, and the leaders and owners and runners of all of the largest conversion therapies in America, such as Exodus International, all inevitably ended up shutting their doors, telling the world that they still have same-sex attractions, telling the world that the conversion therapies didn't work, and apologized to their crimes of horror against the LGBTQ plus community. So because of the generations of men and women that have come before you, that have been a lot like you, claiming same-sex attractions, quote unquote, turning to the Lord, then becoming straight, then turning around and selling that same service to others for a profit, because they've all came to the same unanimous and univocal conclusion, which is that their therapy didn't work on themselves or anybody that they served, and that they apologize for their high crimes against the LGBTQ plus community. I think it's time that at the bare minimum, you wake up to that fact and you realize that you were walking down a very dangerous path for yourself, a very dangerous path for others too. And that you're just simply wrong, and that it's okay to be who you are, and it's just a fact of yourself that you can't change. Okay? These are horrible crimes against good people.
I would like to tell you the same thing. You can be wrong and it still be okay, and it's you can be who you are. I can be who I am, and my beliefs cannot be my opinion. Having an opinion cannot be harmful. If it is harmful to somebody, it is their mental process that is the problem. It is their being that is the problem.
That's just not true.
So you reference somebody self-unaliving, right?
Opinions.
Me saying something
opinions
is not.
Opinions in a society create the structure in which that society operates under. I mean, that's just direct democracy 101 for you. So right, because the opinions in a society create the structure under which the society is run, that's where we get structures from that tell black people they can't shop in stores owned by white people. That's where we get structures that tell gay people that they can't apply for this job because they'll get rejected. That those opinions create structures in society that tell men that possess same-sex attractions that they are wrong, destined for hell, and that they need to go to this conversion therapy that will inevitably never work. Opinions can be very harmful, especially when they're untrue. And I think that it's important for us to predicate and base our opinions on the preponderance of fact and good reason. The only way for society to inevitably serve in the most benevolent way to the interests of the most people possible is when we try to track logic and track truth and be reasonable people. Being unreasonable is what led to slavery. Being unreasonable is what led to segregation. Being unreasonable is what led to the patriarchy. And being unreasonable is what has led to heteronormativity. This whole time, I've been giving you the data, the facts, and the reasons to dispute what you believe in and why. Every point that you've made, I've been able to combat with 5 reasons insofar as why it's wrong. And every point that you've made, I feel like it's only been predicated on your own emotional experiences compared to any legitimate form of reason or fact. And for that reason, I think it is clear that in this conversation, I'm right and you are wrong. And I hope that one day you're able to recognize that fact, not only for your own sake, but for the sake of many others. Right? I'm just gonna be honest.
Thank you for the time. Then.
If you don't change your mind, you are going to live a very miserable life. And hopefully, I would say that the likelihood that you change your mind at some point in the future is incredibly high. You know, I think that 50 years from now, we're going to be living in a very progressive society, much more progressive than it is today. 50 years from now, I mean, you're maybe 20, you're going to be around 70 years old. I'd argue by then, you know, there's a good 85 to 95% chance that you're going to realize Dean Withers was right all along. And, you know, all I'm trying to help you out here to do is to save yourself from as most of that misery and self-denial as possible by waking up to that fact sooner rather than later.
I have one question for you. This is on a completely unrelated subject. How old are you? I didn't hear if you've ever said.
Yeah, I'm 21.
Okay. Well, good for you for being so young and getting out here and showing your opinions and debating with people. That is I agree that debating is very productive, and I do support the fact that you do that, and that's why I joined.
Yeah.
So thank you for the time, the conversation. It was very intellectually engaging.
Yeah, you have a good rest
And
of your day.
God
all
bless
right?
you.
Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah, you too.
God bless you too, man. You know, I view that as a little bit less of a debate and more so just, you know, like a screaming wake-up call, man. But we're going to move on to the next guest right now, guys. Only up inside of the queue if you're an American adult that supports Donald Trump as president. We got a couple people to thank because you guys showed a bunch of love over on the Venmo and PayPal while I was talking to that last guest. I just, held off all the donations until the end because I really did want to focus on him. So we are going to go to get that next guest up right now, guys. Only up inside of that queue if you're an American adult. If you're a Trump supporter and you want to debate me, please stay out of that queue if you're a troll. But in the meantime, there's a couple people that I'd like to thank, like Dylan. Thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you for that love, Dylan. I want to see 200 Dylan W's for the $20. Dylan says, I'm bi, but it took me a long time to accept myself. But people like you make it easier, so thank you. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for giving us your own testimony because I really want the last guest to hear that, you know? I really want the last guest to just be able to hear that. What's going on, man? Do you support Trump? Johnny, I'm going to give you around 5 seconds. Are you MAGA, my friend? All right, they're not here. We also got over on YouTube Super Chat, Dream.
Nigger.
Whoa.
Dream, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. He says, I live in Texas where conversion therapy is still legal and was put through it 6 years ago. I'm here, proudly lesbian with a fiance. I never wish for anybody to go through that. Love you, Dean. I love you too, Dream. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. Michaela, thank you so much for the $10. She says, I grew up with zero male figures. Mom is gay, and when I was younger, I tried being in a relationship with a girl. Here I am straight. If it was a choice, I would not be straight. I can promise you that. Yeah, see, there's a really good example about how, you know, if that last guest was right, and, you know, your environment does influence the way that you think and feel and who you're attracted to, we would totally expect you, Michaela, to not be straight, right? Moving on to the next guest right now. What's up, Justin? Do you support Trump? Okay, Justin's not here. We got somebody else loading in. We're literally trying to load in anybody and everybody that we can to get a debate going on here. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hello, am I on the air?
Yeah, do you support Trump, EJ?
I'm just wondering why you do not support Trump in this climate.
Okay, you a troll?
Do I look like I live under a bridge?
One reason why I don't support Trump is he's a rapist.
Now, why do you feel you have to censor yourself?
Because TikTok TOS tell me I have to.
Solid point.
I don't think they're here to debate. Shaylee, what's up? Do you support Trump? You got 5 seconds.
Oh, I didn't mean to join. I'm sorry.
No worries. Take care, guys. Go to let me know down below in that comment section if you're MAGA. We'll get you pulled up here. I want to go ahead and thank a couple people, though. Reagan, thank you for the $5 over on Vidmosis, standing up for the LGBTQ plus IA. Appreciate you for the $5, Reagan. Amanda, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. I appreciate you so much for the love. saying love watching your streams. Oh, Amanda, appreciate you so much. Thank you for your kindness. Let's get 200 Amanda W's. Let's also get 150 Corey W's. That's Corey with a K. Corey sent $15 saying homosexuality has been documented in over 1,500 animal species, spanning all major groups from insects to fish to birds, reptiles, and mammals. Yep, that is absolutely true. And the species that we haven't documented homosexuality in are the species that we haven't looked for it in. So very, very interesting indeed. We got our next guest, Henry, loading up in while Henry's connecting. Ashley, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Maze, thank you for the $1. Alexander, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Who says, I was raised Christian, never knew what being trans meant growing up, never had any representation, and I'm still trans. School this guy. You got schooled, Alexander. Thank you for the $5. The Phoebe and Tabitha, thank you both for the $5 as well. Thank you guys so much. Show some love to Phoebe and Tabitha. We got that next guest joining right now. And then Sarah, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. That is SERAH, who says, in the Torah, a couple books in the Old Testament, I read it was man should not lay with child or boy, not man. So it is condemning pedophilia, not consensual homosexual acts. Yeah, good point. Thank you for the love, Sarah. Show some love to Sarah in that down below. Welcome in MAGA, Illinois. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
What year are you born in?
86.
Okay, why does it sound like you're making your deep voicer than it actually is?
I'm getting over a cold here and stuff like that, so that's just why here. I haven't been able to speak for the last 3 days.
Okay, I think I believe you. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Let me thank a couple people, then I'll pass the mic to you. First and foremost,
All right.
Christina. Thank you for the $5 on PayPal. He says, you make me proud, kid. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Christina. Lindsay, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. Appreciate you for the love. And Lindsay, you're saying, please mention Dan McKellen's biblical translation for this guest. I forget what he said. I'm going to have to take a look at his videos. Love Dan, though. Thank you for the $10, Lindsay. Let's also get 100 Abby W's for the $10 on PayPal. He says, for Dean Withers. Don't worry, it landed in Dean Withers' pocket. Thank you for the love, Abby. Then Cammy, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. He says, I absolutely love it when you defend the LGBTQ plus community. You are a national treasure. Love you. Cammy, I love you too. You have been watching for a very, very, very long time. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. I want to show that love and support back to you. Show some love to Cammy down below. And then Giselle with the $2 and Kaylee with the $8. Thank you both very, very, very much. And it looks like we're all caught up. If you're watching and you like what we do here, you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok at the top of the phone screen and pin message over on YouTube. I genuinely and sincerely appreciate absolutely everybody for all the insane levels of love and support today. One more person I'd like to thank here. This just came in as Shaylee. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo. That is SHYLEE, who says, just sends a little heart emoji. Oh, love you, Shaylee. Thank you for the 10. MAGA, Illinois, I'm going to pass that mic off to you. How the hell can you still support Trump as president, even though he pardoned domestic and narco terrorists?
So the reason why I voted for Trump is I live in Rockford, Illinois. It's a Democratic city. It's controlled by Democrats in the council and also by the county level as well. Our mayor.
I have a question. Did any of those Democrats pardon domestic and narco terrorists?
No.
So they're already better than Trump.
I don't agree with Trump on that, but it's the hypocrisy of the Democrats in my city that sat there and talk about, oh, they don't agree with police brutality, but almost every officer that they have in their city has had charges of domestic violence here. There was a police officer that dropped a kid on his head and gave him permanent brain damage here. Auburn High School, you can look it up. His name is Paris Moore, 14 years old here, body slammed by a head first by a school resource officer. There was another black
Listen, I'm just going to make this easier for you. We're just going to assume that the Democrat leadership of your city says that they don't agree with police brutality, but then only hires cops that they know will be brutal, and only hires cops that they know will be racist, and only hires cops that they know will hurt people. Total raging hypocrites. Obviously, the way that we should address this issue isn't to turn around and support Trump. The way that we should address this issue is to not support Trump, to want a better president that furthers this country in a positive direction, but to also advocate for better new leadership where you live. You shouldn't support your city council. You shouldn't support your local politicians, and you shouldn't support Trump. Because what it sounds like here is that your city council, your local politicians, are maybe a whole lot like Trump. And they exist in a very similar category of hypocritical politicians that do in what is worse in the worst interests of Americans that
Correct.
shouldn't be serving as our representatives. So even if everything that you're telling us here is true, I don't think that this should imply support for the president.
Correct, and that's the biggest thing here. They sit here and talk about wanting to protect immigrants, but on the recent No Kings rally here, they had a Latin person that arrested for speaking his mind here about the hypocritical stuff.
Can you please address my argument about how this should imply you shouldn't support your local politicians or Trump?
I'm just saying that these Democrats here do Trump stuff here.
Yeah,
and
but guess what? I'm not asking you how do you still support the local politicians in the city that you live in. I'm asking you how do you still support Trump as president. So please engage in that point. We're gonna put a preface on your support for the president.
I supported Trump here this time round here because it's like, if Democrats want to be hypocritical and not pass common sense police reform, then why should I vote for a Democrat at this point?
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that hypocritical Democrats have ran your city into the ground. Therefore, you're going to vote for a hypocritical Republican to run the country into the ground.
I mean, like, it's no difference than what the Democrats in my city are doing here.
If there's no difference between what the Democrats in your city are doing and what Donald Trump is doing to the country, then obviously you shouldn't support either of them because you don't support what the Democrats are doing to your city.
Like, it doesn't matter at this point because in my city, whether it's managed by Democrats or Republicans, they're in it together to destroy our city.
If it didn't matter, then you wouldn't be up here debating me about it.
Why should I vote for Democrats in midterms then? Give me a good reason.
Because they stand against the Trump administration and they support common sense legislation that benefits the average American, like an extension of the ACA subsidy to keep the cost of healthcare for 45 million Americans reliant on Medicaid through the ACA lower.
How come they didn't make that permanent when they had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency in 2020 to 2022? Sorry, 2021 to 2023.
They should have made it permanent. However, a non-permanent ACA subsidy that should be renewed on an annual basis is better than the Republican Party refusing to renew it, increasing the cost of health insurance for 45 million. You're pointing out genuine critiques of the Dems here. Okay, I think that we should be able to do that together. But I don't think that you being able to point out a genuine critique of the Democrats means that therefore you should support Trump. Because basically what your argument is implying here, that if the Democrats aren't perfect, then you'll support a wannabe dictator rapist as president, which I just don't think follows.
I mean, like, to be straight up real for you, like, I didn't even vote for Trump because I liked him, to be honest with you. I just strictly voted for him because of the hypocrisy of my Democrat Party in my local city.
But just saying, if Democrats aren't perfect, therefore I want America to be destroyed by a tyrannical wannabe dictator rapist. Can we just agree that that logic doesn't follow?
It doesn't follow. Like, Eric Sorensen is...
Thanks for admitting that, man. Moving on to the next guest here. We're going to get two Trump supporters loaded up into the live, two people that I know are MAGA. We got a good boy by the name of Moose loading in, and The Truth. The Truth, you came on the stream a couple days ago. You're a Trump supporter, right?
Hell yeah.
I
What's up, bro?
I forget the conversation that we have, but I think I remember dog walking you.
No, you muted me a lot, as usual.
Oh, no, so you're a spiteful MAGA.
Well, I'm the truth.
The Truth. Was I attacking your First Amendment rights? Am I a tyrant?
I'd say so, yes.
Yeah, tyrannical Dean. Yo, dude, that goes crazy. I'm going to put that on a shirt. Here, let me thank a couple of people before we hop into the debate. Lisa, thank you for the 20 Canadian dollars over on Super Chat, who says, hey, Dean, longtime watcher who's a lesbian and absolutely loves when you cook these homophobic maggots. Thank you as always. Keep being you, Lisa. Thank you for the 20 Canadian dollars. We all love you here. Then TNN, thank you for the $10, who says, I've been questioning my sexuality for years and I finally accepted that I am pansexual and that is normal. Love is not a sin. I love you. I love you too. Thank you for the $10. Over on Venmo, thank you for the $2, Charlie. Jamie, thank you for the $5. And Jordan, thank you for the $15, who says, my identity has changed multiple times. I never knew what I identified as until recently. I highly appreciate you and I'm super grateful for what you do. Oh, thank you so much, Jordan. And then Jeremy, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, who says, man, you make me feel so damn optimistic about the future in this age of cynicalism. You know that? Oh, thank you, Jeremy. Listen, I try to give people optimism. And honestly, I think that The Truth should give you optimism because there's a path forward. We just need to get more people on board with it. Thank you for the $20, Jeremy, and the $15 $15 Jordan. I want y'all to show some massive love to Jeremy and Jordan down below in that comment section. If you want to join Jeremy and Jordan in supporting me in what we do here, allow me to continue to do this for 4 days, 7 days a week, and uninterrupted for the whole year. You can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Now, the truth, I'm going to go and pass the mic off to you. Why the fuck do you support the worst administration of your goddamn diddly darn life?
Well, who else is there to support?
Well, I mean, so I don't think that we need a relevant alternative to Trump to support right now, because there shouldn't really be a relevant alternative to Trump to support right now, because we're not heading into the announcement of campaigns for the next general election in 3 years, right? I'd say that the purpose of this live is just to get you to hop off that Trump train. Now, the closer that we do get to midterms in the next general election, that's, of course, when we'll be talking about more so who you should support instead, because there'll be relevant alternatives.
Yeah, well, let's talk about
right
it. Let's
now,
talk about who is it, Newsom?
but right now, the goal isn't to get a relevant alternative in the Oval Office. Right now, the goal is just to reduce the amount of social support and applause surrounding the Trump administration within the American electorate base to hopefully, lower the level of emboldenment that we as the people give them to continue down their tyrannical, harm-driven war path.
Jeez. Okay. So who's the new guy? Who are you supporting? Who is the front runner for the Democrats? Is it Newsom, or do you know?
I just gave you the best possible answer that you could ever get to that question. I don't know why you're asking me it twice. You honestly, I think that I worded my answer to your question perfectly. I think that I worded my answer to your question precisely. And I think that I worded my answer to your question better than I could have if I tried 100 times more. So I don't know if you're going to get more out of me on that.
I'm confused. Let's simplify this. Why do I support Trump? I asked who else is there to support. That would put you on the spot. Who do you support? Who is your front runner? Who is better than Trump?
Right now, there is no front runner for the next general election because campaigns have not been announced yet, as we're multiple years out. The point of this listen, I need you to listen. The point of this live isn't to convince you to support hypothetical person X, Y, or Z over Trump to serve as the president of America, because campaigns for the general election haven't been announced yet and won't for years. But rather, the point of this live is to convince you to stop supporting Trump as president so we can reduce the social support and emboldenment that we as the people give his administration to continue down their tyrannical, harm-driven war path.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know what that all meant, but why do I support
So what did
Trump?
I say that you're
Because he
confused
speaks
on?
the, well, you want to know why I support Trump. He tells the truth. Let's start with that. He tells the truth.
But you
That's
just said
why.
that you didn't understand the answer that I gave you to your question. So where are you confused?
Well, why are we going down this? Let's get to
Why
the
are we
debate.
going
What are
down
we
this?
debating?
Because you asked the question and I gave you my answer. Why are we going down a line of dialogue following the answer that I gave you to a question that you asked? You're so disingenuous.
Well, just tell me the question. Just be simple with the question. I'll answer it. Go ahead.
Fine. I'll
Simple
just restart.
question.
Why do you support Trump as president?
Okay, because he tells the truth. Because he's the closest to the truth, much more than the Democrats. And argue that.
So what
does he lie about?
What you can't argue is that we've never had a more dishonest president than Trump. In his first term, he told over 30,000 confirmed lies. And the biggest lie that any president has ever told was his denial of the outcome of the 2020 election that has persisted until this very day. And he's always lying. Every single day, it is a new lie. You would not be able to give me any good evidence to demonstrate that a Democrat in Congress, a Democrat in the Oval Office, or even another Republican in Congress or the Oval Office has lied more than Trump.
Well, that depends on what you call a lie. That, if you are the truth, pull out an example of where the truth is and show us the lie.
Okay, you want a really clear-cut example of Donald Trump lying?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everyone,
Listen,
it has to be a clear-cut example. Go ahead.
This is going to be such a clear lie.
Okay, go ahead.
Video of that. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release. No problem.
You said you would have
And then this is 5 days
I saw
later.
this one. Yeah, no, I saw this one.
problem
Yeah.
with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
It can't get more clear than that.
Well, I mean, how many interviews do you think he does a day? I mean, honestly, you have to be honest. I know that's hard. How many interviews do you think he gives a day?
One or
Does he
two.
remember every single conversation? Come on, one or two. This guy is talking to over 500 people a day, at least.
Come on,
He's
you know
having
that's not true.
500. He's having 500 conversations a day minimum. So
how many times does he talk to the reporters today? How many times does he talk to the reporters today? Maybe once.
Well, it seems like it's daily. Anyways, he's talking to a lot of people.
Maybe once a day. How many people do I talk to? I talk to people for 4 hours straight every single day. And even I remember the conversation that I had with you multiple days ago. The first thing that you said when you came up here, right? The first thing I said to you was that we talked a couple days ago.
Well, no, I know. Well, you said that, but can you prove it? Now, I remember that because, and I'll give you a lot of break. This is a great point. Now, I bet you anything you cannot remember the 3 topics. I don't think you can. Don't look at any notes. What were the 3 topics we talked about? We had 3 debates. Do you remember them? I do. No, you don't. Not all. Do you remember one of them? Do you remember one of them?
This one's going to be hard for me. I don't remember this. I don't remember the substance of the conversation.
So be fair. Be fair. So I'm just making a point.
Give me a second here. I don't know if I remember the substance of the conversation, but I do remember talking to you. If I really put my mind to it, let me think here. Let me think here. Because I've done this before. What did we talk about? No. I don't remember. You're right. I think I remember having a conversation with you about immigration. So maybe one topic, but that's it. But I think that my point here is that if you were to tell me that I said something to you inside of that debate, I would be able to reasonably conclude if I said it or not, dependent on if it is in the realm of my values and my beliefs. Nobody knows what I believe better than myself. So if I told you something 3 days ago, let's just say that I support mass amnesty because I think it's beneficial for the moral fabric of this nation and it makes the economy better, and then you came back today, I would be able to tell you with confidence that that is something that I said. Now, for everybody in the chat spamming that he's following kids, y'all already know the drill. If you have any evidence of that, feel free to open up a private ticket over on the Discord. Until then, I'll wait. I tried to look through his following list a little bit myself. Couldn't personally find any kids on there.
Yeah.
But obviously,
don't get sued. Yeah. Don't get sued now.
But obviously, I'm the one streaming, talking, kids. So on and so forth. Well, don't worry. If you don't follow kids, then you'll be fine because we only operate.
That's okay. I don't mind the chat. I saw your chat come into my thing. They all said the same thing. That's fine. I already got them talking like that. That's okay. They were showing me pictures of 40-year-old women. See, she's a kid. I'm like, dude, she's 40. But whatever. Okay, that's fine. It's a goofy thing. It's what you guys do. It's fine.
Listen. If there's no evidence, if there's no evidence for it, then you'll be good.
Well, I'm not worried about anything. Trust me.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
if you don't follow kids, then you shouldn't be worried about anything because we do verify that claim when it's made.
I don't follow kids. No, I don't follow kids.
Okay. We'll just wait. Please open up a private ticket in the Discord if you have evidence. Go ahead. Guys, don't spam it in the chat. Private ticket on Discord.
Yes, he does. Oh, look at this. So they're saying that I follow kids. Okay.
Well, you do.
I don't know who I follow. It's 100. I just started the account. I follow whoever follows me. So if they follow me, I follow them back. Usually that's my thing. If I follow any kids, it's not for any purpose of pedophilia. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
But no, you can search through. You looked through. You said you didn't find any kids good. And if I see any kids, I'll delete them. But there's no purpose of following kids for any disgusting narratives that you guys are trying to push.
You do.
It's pretty desperate though by you guys though to do that, and we could talk about that. That's a good debate.
Hey, truth.
You should, and I'm glad that you do control your animals that come after people.
Don't call people animals. They're just looking out for minor safety. You do follow a kid. And they're starting to spam that kid's ad in the comment section. That's why I'm going to disconnect you for that minor safety. Go unfollow that kid. Hello.
What's going on, Mr. Withers?
Not too much. Just, shitting on Trump supporters as per the usual.
Why don't you just say, hey, I'm trying to educate, and make aware certain issues within a party instead of saying shitting on people. How about that?
Can I be honest?
No, you've never been honest. So go ahead. You can lie. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be real honest in my response to your question. The answer is to piss you off.
Doesn't piss me off. It just shows your character. You know what's funny, dude? I'm
poking the buttons.
I enjoy talking to you. Last debate that I had with you and Parker, I absolutely dog walked you when you actually left the room. It was crazy. You were bringing up the calling for unaliving of Trump calling.
Hey, you're outside with a lot of wind. There's a lot of wind, dude. The wind's interrupting. Can you do something about that?
Dude, I'm on vacay. I'm talking to you, okay, for a second, okay? Deal with the wind, bro.
Do this.
You want to see? You want to see?
Cup the phone like this.
What does this look like?
Your camera's off, my friend. That looks like a beautiful pool. Where are you, Cabo? No.
Crazy, Mr. Withers. Okay, I'm sorry if there's a little bit of wind in paradise. That's what happens when you get out of your basement.
Just cup your phone and you'll be good. Yeah, I understand when you leave the house on a windy day, if you're on the phone, there will be wind going into the mic. You idiot.
I'm an idiot. Wow, here comes the ad homs already. Crazy.
Well, I mean,
sorry, bro.
The first
I
ad
can't
hom
stop
was
the
referencing
wind.
Leaving my mother's
I'm
basement,
not God.
so.
Listen, I'm not God, okay? I can't make the wind stop.
I understand that you're an older guy. As somebody that's a little bit more like familiar with technology than you, let me help you out here. Although you can't stop the wind, there are things that you could do to reduce the level of noise that is created by the wind.
Can I be honest with you
your
real
phone's
quick?
mic.
Hang on. It's not really the wind. It's like the pool equipment. It was a big fucking pool. Excuse my language. And it's like the equipment's pretty massive, pretty gnarly.
Okay, it's a little bit better now.
Anyway, dude, so last time we spoke, I really cornered you guys. I was hoping that you had thought and kind of revisited our conversation. You ran from the debate. Parker ended up keeping me around. But you were telling me that Donald Trump has been calling for the unaliving of his political adversaries. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, you definitely didn't dog walk me or Parker on a debate on that.
Okay, Daddy's speaking. You called me an older gentleman, so Daddy's going to speak real quick. Is that okay?
So older gentlemen are people that should be referred to as daddies. So Donald Trump is
wait, father. Wait a minute. Let's debate that.
Donald Trump is your older gentleman.
So fathers should not be gentlemen. Should fathers not be gentlemen?
Well, I think that respectable fathers are gentlemen, and I don't think.
Okay, cool. So then you're wrong. So fathers should be gentlemen.
No, I'm right. I'm right because you're not a gentleman.
Hey, how many of Donald Trump's children have turned against him?
I don't know. How many?
0.
Okay, and?
Does that mean they're bought and paid for, or does that mean that they love and respect their father?
They're his children. I wouldn't doubt that they love and respect their father because he's his father.
Oh, so children don't turn against their parents, and their parents do terrible things, and they're hypocrites?
No, children can turn against their parents all the time. However, it's significantly less likely for a child to turn against their father than a random individual to turn against them. Not to mention that specifically in reference to oligarchical type families, specifically in reference to families with generational wealth to the tune of, like Donald Trump has, nearly $10 billion. We will very, very rarely see the children of these people, especially when raised by that individual, knowing that they are in their will, knowing that they can use their father, use their family to increase and generate their own wealth, turn against their father. We very, very rarely see that. Like, think about it this way. Don Jr., for instance. John Jr. Has now been able to generate a net worth of, like, I think, is he at over $100 million yet? I think he is. Before his father dies and he gets the inheritance, he's been able to generate a net worth of over $100 million because of his relationship with his father. He runs his own podcast that generates a daily income. He runs ads on that podcast, money, money, money. And now he's working on setting up and selling a Trump phone, okay, that will be manufactured in China and imported into America with no tariff, since his father's the one who would restrict or implement that tariff. to in turn generate himself a net worth of successful over $1 billion. And then once his, father dies, will, increase tenfold. So because of the conflict of interests related to the fact that they're the children of this man, and children would typically be at a higher likelihood of experiencing more resistance to terminate a relationship, and B, the dynamic of money and influence and fame in that family running deep within Donald Trump and his children, that they would be at a very, very,
Good
very
God, are you
low
done yet?
likelihood to turn on Trump regardless of what he would do.
Holy shit, dude. What was that?
It was a very fair explanation
So
about why
okay,
you're
so
wrong.
I get, yeah, and I get. Let me have 2 words before you cut me off and mute me again.
I
Okay?
didn't cut
If
you
that's
off.
cool.
You asked a question.
Yeah, and that was a long-winded just explosion of just nonsense.
Can you explain to me specifically what I said that was nonsense?
I will dive into it a little bit.
No, before you do, you
that-
made an accusation that what I said was nonsense, specifically
I'm
out
just
of what I said
trying to
was
explain
nonsense.
it to you. Stop speaking, please.
Okay. Give me specific quotes of things that I said and directly and precisely explain how they're nonsense.
I'll tell you how. You're
Good
saying that because of Donald Trump's status, that his son, Junior, is benefiting off of his father, which we should do actually as children of successful parents. Okay, I would make that argument. Now, in return, I'm going to say what he's doing with his podcast, his phone, all this cool stuff. These are all cool endeavors. Now, in return, if I know this is a whataboutism, what about Biden? I don't like to go that, but we have to have a comparison here. Okay, so we have to look at Biden Jr. and we have to look at his dealings with the Ukraine and the business that he was involved in, and he had no business being involved in at all. So that is actually literally using your father, who is the president of the United States, and being bought and paid for so you can get a status level here. That has nothing to do with entrepreneurship, okay? Hunter's business adventure at all. So I would make the argument that one is a business person building their future off of their father, and the other one is a fucking crook off of the back of their father and off of the back of the American people. That's what my argument would be.
Okay.
You little snowflake.
Well, Mr. Big Snowflake, old Snowflake, gentleman Snowflake is I think what you refer to yourself as. I mean, I don't know if a conversation comparing Donald Trump's children to Biden's children is too relevant when attempting to determine if Trump is a good president for the American people. But nonetheless, I mean, if
you want to do a comparison with Junior and Hunter,
if Hunter Biden did anything
stop muting
illegal,
me, bro. It's a back and forth.
Then stop interrupting me, bro. It's a back and forth. So if Hunter Biden did anything illegal within his business ventures with Ukraine, then why isn't the Trump DOJ prosecuting him for it? And don't say it's because his dad pardoned him, because the scope of the pardon that Biden gave to Hunter was specifically for certain gun-related charges, nothing to do with any of his involvement with Ukraine.
So you want to compare the two? You want to compare which one has better moral character? Is that your point?
I am just asking you a question because you seem to suggest
Is that what you want to do?
that there
You wanna
was
do that right
illegal
now?
corruption that Hunter Biden was involved in. This isn't even asking you for a comparison, but rather asking you a pretty common sense and fair question. If Hunter Biden was guilty of this illegal corruption, then why isn't he being prosecuted by the DOJ for it? They obviously have no issue in going after their political opponents. They tried to do it to James Comey. They tried to do it to Letitia James. They tried to do it to Hillary Clinton. And now you're bringing up the pardon. I already defeated this argument. I already defeated this argument before you made it.
Are
the
you a
pardon was
track
for the
star,
specific
dude?
scope
Stop
of the
it.
gun-related charges, nothing to do with his business involvement / dealings with Ukraine.
So he was. So Hunter backs what party?
The blue.
The blue. He backs the blue. Once blue, always blue party, right?
Well,
and you guys are the party of gun control, reform, okay? Background checks, all kinds of stuff, right? Now you have an ex-president's son, okay, who literally showed the hypocrisy from being pardoned, not a commuted sentence, but pardoned for all of this stuff. So how do you say, hey, we need more gun regulations when your party literally did the ultimate and literally just laughing and slapping the American children in the face and said, we don't care about gun charges. We don't care about reform. We don't care about putting people behind bars that should be behind bars, but Trump should be there, right? Look at the hypocrisy in your world belief right now, dude. It's insane.
Okay. Well, what I'd argue here, and this one is a very simple argument to make, is that it's significantly more hypocritical to say that you stand with women and girls, like Donald Trump going on Truth Social before the last election and tweeting out that his administration will be the best administration in history for American women and girls, than to turn around, grape a woman, then when you're found guilty of it, call for her imprisonment. It's even more hypocritical to say that you stand with law and order than incite your followers to throw a tantrum at this country's capital, assaulting cops in the process, and then turning around and giving full and complete presidential pardons to the 172 people that tried to kill cops like DJ Rodriguez, then to label them as patriots. It's even more hypocritical to argue that you're a member of the GOP, you're a patriot, you care about core American values, you stand with the Constitution, than to launch 5 grand and great attacks on the Constitution in 10 months. I understand the point of hypocrisy that you're drawing here. The left says we need more gun control. The left says that, we need to implement these restrictions. We need to ensure that people could only own guns under these particular conditions, and the right's not doing enough. And then then Joe Biden turns around and gives his son a pardon for a crime that he was convicted of because he lied on a federal firearms application, ATF form 4473, by certifying that he was not an unlawful user or addicted to any controlled substances at the time of purchase, which was later proved to be false. That's a small bit of hypocrisy. And I'm not going to say that Democrats in Congress aren't hypocritical from time to time. Democrats in Congress also like to say, right, that they want to stand with the average American and protect the working class. But then we see people like, Pete Buttigieg, Obama, and even Biden.
Bro, can we do one thing at a time?
Defending legislation to allow dark money to be continued to funnel into politics. They say that they want to stand with the people, that they're populist and fight for, the interests of the majority. But then when the majority of the Democratic representatives under the age of 50 stand against the state of Israel, they still turn around, accept lobbyist money from AIPAC, and call them our best friend. So there's some hypocrisy within the Democratic members of our Congress, within Democratic presidents that we've had before. But I just say comparing the hypocrisy that we see from somebody like Biden, right, to the hypocrisy and harm that we see from somebody like Trump is a comparison between a 14-year-old stealing a candy bar from a grocery store to Jeffrey Dahmer serially murdering, then raping people.
Are we done yet?
Why do you have the attention span of a 5-year-old?
I don't understand what that means, but can I have a conversation with you?
Are we done yet? You literally sound like me in my mom's backseat when we're taking a 30-minute drive to a restaurant across town. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Brother, what are you doing?
That would be Bart Simpson on The Simpsons saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Oh, that'd be you. That'd be you right now.
Just stop, dude. You just talk a lot, and it gets annoying. But listen,
if I talk too much for you because your attention span is wait 1 second. If I talk too much for you because your attention span is brain rotted by fucking adult Cocomelon, like reading Donald Trump's Truth Social posts all day, then go find somebody else to debate. We explore nuance here, buddy. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But it's not my fucking fault that it's not for you.
Dude, hang on a second. I've never once read Donald Trump's Truth Social. Okay. I mean, I've seen when people will bring stuff up that's kind of hypocritical or bullshit. I'll kind of dive into that a little bit. But I don't do that. I don't follow him. But listen, backing up. Did you ever play basketball in your youth at all? I mean, this is your youth, so probably not. Because you fucking pivoted. You just pivoted. So that's a pivot. So wait a second. We were talking about the children. We were doing a comparison against Trump Jr., Don Jr., and against Hunter Biden. And you go right to Donald Trump and his nefarious acts with women, even going into teens. Your pivot was fucking insane. It was like nuts. You filibustered. No, stop talking, dude. I didn't speak over you at all. Okay?
Because I had to mute you when you did. Go ahead.
You had to mute me 6 times. You can make yourself look better, like I'm actually cutting you off, but I'm not, little child. Okay?
If I had to mute you 6 times, that means you interrupted me 6 times. Just saying.
You just can't stop yourself. You can't control yourself, huh? Dude, I get it. You're so deep in the shit that you can't get out of it. There's probably been times when you've been like, what am I doing with my life? I have to back this shit constantly. And you honestly, maybe you're so deep now that Dean, you can't back out of it. Like trying to find common ground and common sense, you can't even do it.
Dude, I'm literally like owning you on every single thing that you say, and now you're gonna start coping by telling me that I hate my life. No, it's cute. I've never heard it before. Trust me, I've never had an angry and stupid Trump supporter. I've never had an angry and stupid Trump supporter join my life, make a point, get refuted, then blow up by attacking my character. You know, you're a true genius. You're really innovative. I swear to you, that's never happened before. Super smart guy we got on the live here.
I don't know, dude. I think we've come a long way. You and I have talked a lot. I honestly love the debate. I love your guys' lives. Just because when you guys do bring up these topics stuff, I do think they're important. I think you're young and growing. I don't want to sound like the old guy that's up here. Hey, son, let me tell you in your future how you're going to get better. But dude, we got to change this shit. How are you going to change the future as we know it if you think that you're in the right, okay? But you just act like this. You fucking act like a child, and it just looks like you're looking for money, man. Honestly.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I actually think that I've been, let me rephrase that. I think that I've been holding myself to a pretty professional and intellectual standard this live. For whatever reason, I've been live for 2 hours.
Thank your gifters, please. Thank your gifters. I can wait.
What, dude? Why are you talking about? I haven't mentioned my gifters once in this conversation.
Go ahead. I can wait. Go ahead. I know it's coming. Just do it. I can wait. I'll mute.
Are you just pissed off by the fact that people are donating to me?
Thank your gifters, bro. Even if they're real or fake, I don't know.
Oh my God. Dude, you're so pissed off about the fact that people donate to me that even when I don't read off those donations, just the subconscious fact that you know they're coming in makes you angry.
Go ahead, grifter.
Exactly. How am I grifter? What have I done? How am I grifter? Tell me. What have I done?
You're basically what you are. You're like a church. You're like a church, and they put like the soft music on, and it's like, the minister, the pastor is ending his sermon, and then the slow music rolls in. It puts you in emotions, and it goes, our outreach programs are so great. The building is getting better, and you're up here going, thank you so much. Give me 500 likes in the chat right now. Dude, you're exactly the same. You're one of these.
But I haven't done that once, and you're just losing your shit.
No, I'm not.
You're losing your goddamn mind. Also, by the way, you're a bad Christian because you just called Christian pastors grifters. But now that you bring it up, now that you bring it up, me thanking my donors and everything. If you are watching this live and you want to donate to me and get a real big shout out, you could find the Venmo and the PayPal in the link tree in my bio on my TikTok account, top of the phone screen too. That's what the VMP stands for. And then over in the pin message on Venmo. And at this point in time, excuse me, Liam, at this point in time, I think we will take a moment to go ahead and thank the investors. They're not donors, they're investors.
Here comes the televangelist, everyone.
This is seed funding for the startup. First and foremost, Stephanie! Thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. I want to see 500 big Stephanie W's down below on all the live streams. If you're watching on TikTok, if you're watching on YouTube, I want you all right now to engage in mass hysteria and thank Stephanie for the $50. Thank you so much for the love. Miss Stephanie says, oh, Mr. Withers, how is this possible? They won't have to. He will turn on them more than likely. He eventually turns on everybody. Yes, Donald Trump will turn on all the crazy MAGA supporters. All that you got to do to stop being a MAGA supporter is to make a small one-time contribution to the Venmo and PayPal. Speaking of those contributors, Tracy, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, who says to crap on Musin to support you. Thank you for the investment. Ash with the $2 to hurt his feelings. Olivia with the $2 to cook his shit. We're frying him today. Lisa, thank you for the $50 over on Venmo. I'm going to need everybody watching to show some love to Lisa. Shelly with a $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. Lisa with a $50 says that you're amazing. I love you. I love you too, Lisa. Taylor with a $10 says, why is this dude getting so mad? Because he's pissed that I'm doing better than he is. Kimberly, thank you for the $50. Who says, thank you so much. You've made the last 12 months bearable. It's my birthday today. Happy birthday, Kimberly. I want everybody to show some love to Kimberly for the $50 and the happy birthday wishes down below in that chat. And holy shit, Kevin, thank you for the $100 over on Venmo. Who says, here's another $100 because his guest is insanely jealous and can't stop thinking about you even when he's on a vacation. Can't stop thinking about y'all donating to me even when I'm not even talking about y'all. I didn't talk about the donations once in that conversation. Sammy, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo to tell the guest to shut up. Benjamin with a $1. Oh no, we're fucking not done yet. Maze, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Maze. Let's get 150 Maze W's down below in that chat. I would also like to thank Courtney for the $10 saying, Dean, I love you. I love you too. Emily with $1.50 saying, I love you, Dean. I love you too, Emily. Lace with a $5 on Venmo for my favorite grifter. Thank you for your support and contribution towards the grift. Jocelyn, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much, Daxton, for the $1. Junior with a $1. David with a $3. Thank you for supporting the grift. Jessica with a $10. Big $10 on PayPal. He says, take my money, you grifter. Gimme, 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 gimme. And Gladys, oh my God. Thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal for the grift. That is GLADYS. Everybody show some love to Gladys down below in the chat for the $50. Sydney, thank you so much for the $10. Shout out to you. No, I'm not going to thank your friend, Sydney. That was fucked, but thank you for the $10. Darius, thank you so much for the $5 on PayPal for tithes to the Church of Bean. Thank you so much. Corey with the $3 to piss him off. Anna with the $5. Thank you so much. Samuel with the $15. Sorry, with the $5. Okay, I won't read the first part of that message. Felicia, thank you for the $10. And Joey with the $10 as well. Thank you, Felicia and Joey. We still have more contributors to thank. Brianna, thank you for the $50 on Venmo. Holy fuck, Brianna. Thank you so much, Brianna says with the $50, maybe if you started running your quote-unquote grift the way that Trump does, I'd make trillions. I'm going to be a trillionaire. Thank you for the $50, Brianna. Show some love to Brianna in that chat. Philadelphia, thank you for the $5 supporting the grift. Love you. Gianna with the $2 for the grift. Love you. Alec with the $2 for the grift, calling Liam a joke and saying first-time donor. And then Jordan, thank you for the $80 on PayPal. Holy shit, Jordan. I want to see 800 Jordan W's. Who says, just saw your live on TikTok. We're to like-minded people. Hopefully I can join you in debate one day. Well, I mean, if I run a topic you disagree on, feel free to hop in that queue. Thank you for the $80, Jordan. Then Draken, thank you for the $10 on Super Chat. Just to spite in. Devin with the $20 Australian dollars just to be petty as fuck. Thank you for supporting the grift with the fake DNC money. I really do appreciate you. Then Chapula, thank you for the $10 as well. Who says, caller's incredibly immature compared to Dean. Have a great day, Dean. You too. Jamie with the $1 over on PayPal. Penny with the $20 on Venmo to support the grift, saying, how old is this guy, man? This man baby that never grew up. Oh, he's like fucking 50. Thank you for the $20, Penny. And then Ivy, that is Ivy EY. Thank you for the $25 who says Merry Christmas, Ivy. Sydney with the $10 who says, okay, the last one is a joke, but for a love you too, Sydney. Benjamin, thank you for the $5 on Venmo who says the caller's a grifter, how the turntables have. Thank you guys all so much for the love and support. Thank you for supporting the grift. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your donation. W grifts, W tithes, W fake DNC money, W fake donors. We're fucking getting real. We're getting real lit tonight, Liam. Welcome back, sir. I just had to thank all the donors for, like, in all reality. I'm not even joking about this.
This is insane.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I think you really appreciate when I come up here because you make a shit ton of money, dude.
You know what, Liam?
Why?
You know what, Liam? I'm gonna be honest. I do. I appreciate your fucking immature crash outs. You know that when you crash out about my donations.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Just one second. I just let you talk for like 10 minutes. You're going to give me 30 seconds. That's pure rage bait. You know that when you come up here and you immature... Just fucking with you. You know that when you come up here and you have an immature crash out over the amount of donations that I get, that it will cause more people to donate to me. Venmo and PayPal, Linktree and bio. But you literally can't hold yourself back because you are so fucking furious over the donations. You cannot hold yourself back.
No, I don't. I don't really care. I think, hey, more power to you that you're making money off what you're doing. I know you've put in time and effort.
You were calling me a grifter less than 2 minutes ago.
I do believe that you're a grifter, but I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous over the funds that you make and
You're
stuff. I
very
think
jealous.
Okay, dude. No, I'm not. I have a great life. I'm totally blessed. Okay.
So
I
then you
don't
want to
really
be
care
calling in to a 21-year-old's talk show on TikTok to complain about how much money he makes while on vacation at a pool, by the way.
Do you honestly dislike me and you don't want to talk to me?
Of course I dislike you. Yo, Ivy! Oh my God! Thank you so much for the $100 on Venmo. Holy shit, Ivy! That is IVEY. Let's get 1,000 IVWs down below in that chat. Thank you so much for your love and kindness, Ivy. That is fucking crazy. Liam, can you please thank Ivy for the insane $100? Like, that is seriously nuts.
Yeah, Ivy, thank you so much for donating to Dean. I know that your parents should have taught you better, but hey,
What?
thanks.
What is that
Thanks
supposed to mean?
I mean, she's obviously giving money foolishly. She could be doing really great things with that. There's probably a lot of people that are homeless in her community that could probably use that. But you're a grifter, and you're going to do.
You're so pissed. By the way, Ivy with that $100 donation said, because I really want to see him crash out. Enjoy the crash out, Ivy. You paid a lot of money for it. Go ahead.
You know what? Watch this. Do you know that guy out of Texas, that huge televangelist, the pastor? He's always got that little smirk on his face.
1 second.
He's like,
Shut up. Abigail, thank you for the $5. He says, I love Rage Betty, me too. Ada with the $5. That is ADUA. Thank you for supporting the grift. Then Kathy, thank you for the $25 on PayPal. He says, love you. I love you too, Kathy. Thank you so much for the $25. Show some love to all of our donors down below in that chat, including Kathy. Then Shelly with a 5. Thank you so much for the love. Shape with a 5. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you guys so much for your kindness. Go ahead and continue talking, Mr. Liam.
I'm just trying to make the comparison that you're kind of like, you talk down to like Christianity and and stuff, and a lot of cases I agree with you. I think that the church has become hypocritical, and it's basically just all about itself and making the building bigger and making the entertainment better. And I think that God's word is really simple, honestly. And because we need examples.
Oh my God, Jordan! Thank you for the $100. What the fuck is going on? Jordan said $100 over on PayPal, saying just quote unquote to make him more mad. Holy fuck, dude! Oh my God!
Hey, respectfully, is there any way you could just wait like about 2 minutes as I'm in the middle of every time I'm trying to speak? You're thanking you gifters. I get it. I want you to do that. But can you just control your emotions?
I thank you for the $100, Jordan.
Can you control your emotions, Dean?
If you thank Jordan for sending me $100 without berating them or belittling them, I will let you finish speaking.
Well, yeah, Jordan. Thank you so much for sending this money over to Mr. Withers. I mean, you're not going to be able to help your cat, like
you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
No, listen, I'm trying to say his cat fund is thinning, okay? So
you couldn't do it.
Maybe his Mew Mew Chow or his cat litter box is going to be full because he's donating you. I don't know.
You can't do it. You can't be kind.
I was being nice. I'm just saying, hey, there might be better things. There's better things he could use that money for. Okay?
You can't fucking do it. You have to continue to tell people that they shouldn't be donating to me. You have to continue to berate them and belittle them when they do donate to me.
I'm not belittling. Listen,
even when it means you having
Dean, what do you think the chances are that this person owns a cat?
Oh my God, Ivy! What the fuck? Ivy just said another $100 on Venmo. Oh my God, Ivy with another $100 on Venmo says my parents are Trump supporters. This is to make them mad too. I teach and I have students that act more mature than this guy. Ivy, what the fuck? Thank you. Thank you so much for another $100. What the fuck is going on? Thank you so much for your kindness. Queen Ivy in that chat, everybody. And then Liam, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you. Thank you so much for the love, Ivy. And Susan. And then Gabrielle, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, who says, my cats listen better than this fool. Obviously. Jennifer, thank you with $8 on Venmo, says, my cats tell this guy to fuck off. Aaron with the 67 cents. Tracy, thank you for the $5 on Venmo to interrupt him.
67 cents.
Darius, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Whitty with the $5 for the griff. Benjamin with a $1 for the griff. Abigail with the $5 because he can't be nice. Grace with the $5 said it's so funny watching him rage. Oh my God.
What would you say you've made since I've been up here on your page?
Maze! Thank you for the $100! Who says from a raging blue, home owning, perfect credit having, car owning, RN/exotic dancer to make Liam irritated. What the fuck? Thank you for the 100. Oh my God. Never heard him this quiet. Maze. Thank you for the $100.
I just don't want to continue being interrupted, so you can continue doing your emotional bullshit.
We'll do this again. If you could thank Maze for the $100 donation without demeaning her, belittling her, or being rude to her, I'll allow you to speak with no interruption.
Why would I thank this person?
Because it'll.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I thank this person?
Of course, I'll tell you.
For
Because
gifting you what you.
It'll make me give you the mic with no interruptions.
No, I don't care. You're not going to do that anyway, dude. You're a liar and you're disingenuous.
No, I will. If I interrupt you after you thank Maze, I'll refund every single donation.
Maze, thank you for your gift. Appreciate it. You don't want me to do that though, dude. If I'm nice and I'm actually, pleasant, and people are going to stop being in their emotions and gifting you. So you want me crazy up here. Trust me, that's what you want. Okay? Because you're the televangelist guy, okay? That's like getting people in their emotions and then they open up their pocketbooks. And that's exactly what's happening. The big churches do that to keep the lights on, okay, to further their square footage, okay? And then they're going to go, oh, we're giving so much money worldwide and we're sending money to Africa and we're bringing people to Christ and we're doing all this. And this is the same thing. Christ came in to these temples and fucking turned over the tables and said, you are a den of thieves, okay? You're a den of thieves. So none of this is biblical. What you're doing, what televangelists are doing, any of this stuff, dude. But you find the worst in people, you bring it to the light to make yourself look better and your party better. And it's fucking disingenuous and it's hurting society as we know it. And you're making money off of it and inflating your ego in the process. Go ahead, Snowflake, your turn.
First and foremost, Liam, you are a good fucking boy. I'm proud of you. You thanked Maze for the $100 donation on Venmo, Linktree in bio, by the way, and you did not belittle her. You weren't rude to her. You didn't demean her. You did what I asked, and I couldn't be more proud of you. Now. I don't know what I want to do first. Thank all the
You're
new
such
donors,
a child, dude.
or because I'm telling you that I'm proud of you and I'm a child. I'm just a good guy.
Yeah, you're the kid in the playground that gets bullied, okay? And now you think you have power because you have a mute button and a platform.
I'm just a good guy.
You're a nerd. You're a nerd is what you are, bro.
Yeah, since when was it bad to be a nerd?
Couldn't even do 20 push-ups last time I was on live with you. Stop it. You blamed it on your cat. Stop blaming your weakness on your cat, dude.
1 second. I was in the middle of doing push-ups and the cat literally attacked me.
Oh, wow.
You were
attacked. You were attacked by a pussy.
Two weeks ago, I did over 40 push-ups on live consecutively. The reason why I was only able to get through 10 is because I was on the ground in my living room. Momo walked up to me and I was going pretty fast, so it looked like I was trying to play with her. And she fucking swatted me. And then after I got fucking swatted by the cat, okay, then I was like, well, let me continue. But by that time, you were already like, no, I won. You couldn't do it. And you were like, I won. I was like, dude, like, I just got swatted, but I can continue. I'll continue. Fresh start. And you're like, no, I won.
No, dude, the bat.
Oh my god! Holy fuck. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my jeez. Oh my god.
Thank you for the $400. Thank you so much.
More.
Oh my God. $800. Thank you so much.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
There is no such thing as a god, Dean. Stop saying that.
Stephanie, thank you for the $150 on PayPal. Arnie came in the same minute. ARNE. Thank you for the $150 on PayPal as well. Then Annabelle came in the same minute. Thank you for the $80. I don't deserve this. Oh, I'm not even going to act like I deserve this. Thank you for the $80 on PayPal, Annabelle, who says, grift away, my friend. TBH, I do think you hurt Liam's feelings by telling him that you don't like him. Maybe so. Oh my God, you guys. Show some love to Annabelle down below in that comment section for the $80. Show some love to Stephanie down below in that comment section for the $150. Show some love to Arnie down below in that comment section for the $150. Thank you guys so very much. Richard, thank you so much for the 10. Kim, this just came in as well. Thank you for the $50 on Venmo saying keep up the good fight. Thank you for the $50, Kim. Maddie, thank you for the $50 as well on Venmo, who says please tell him to shut up. Sincerely, Mama Beach. Thank you for the $50. And Adrian, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. I'm going to keep your message private just for your own safety. But Adrian, thank you so fucking much. Show some love to Adrian. Show some love to Maddie. Show some love to Kim. Show some love to Arnie. Show some love to Annabelle. Show some love to Stephanie. Oh my God, guys. Okay, I'm going to keep it real. I don't deserve that at all. I'm genuinely so fucking.
You're absolutely right. You don't deserve it at all.
I'm genuinely so fucking grateful for you guys, dude. Thank y'all so very much for the love. That is so fucking insane, and it's just crazy to know. It's just crazy to know the reason why we are getting an unprecedented level of love right now. Thank you guys so much for your kindness. Is because this fucking man baby decided to come up here and complain about it. He couldn't hold himself back.
Look at this strategy.
He couldn't stop himself from fucking complaining about it.
Look at this strategy.
Knowing that when he complained about it, okay, right, it would cause like an onset wave of donations. And by the way, this isn't a strategy. Okay, this is just me being honest about the facts.
Yes, it is.
If you wanted to know if I was to use a strategy, it would be to not tell you that you crashing out is what causes the donations. It would be to not tell you that, because then you'd be at a higher likelihood of continuing to do it. Therefore, I would be at a higher likelihood of continuing to get donations. But I've made it clear since you started crashing out that will cause individuals to donate to me in spite of yourself. And you are conscious of that, and you are still deciding to crash the fuck out.
What's 66 plus 33?
Brother. Do you not know how to do basic addition?
I'm asking you a question. I want to get you out.
99.
Okay, just want to make sure. I want to see if you're all there. You seem like you're really hyped right now. Your senses are really hyped because of all the fake money that's coming in. I'm just trying.
Wait, now you're calling it fake?
I just think if you haven't earned it, then yeah, I call it fake. So I'm just trying to see.
Wait, some more fake money came in. Jordan, thank you for the $50 over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Jordan, who says, I'm 20 years old, bringing in $200K per year. Damn, dude. I don't need money. Dude automatically assumes that I need or have a cat fund. By the way, I do have a cat. Jordan, you're doing fucking great, brother. Or sister, I guess.
I knew he did. I know it.
Thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Jordan. Stephanie, thank you for the $80, who says you deserve it. Liam is a crash out kin. He literally can't stop himself. Thank you for the $80, Stephanie. Then thank you for the $20, Danielle, who attached no message, just sent the love. Megan with the 5, Benjamin with the 1, Jessica with the 5, and Camila with the 5. Thank you guys so much for the love. Holy shit. Okay. Thank all the donors. Be done with it.
Hey,
move on, and I'll stop making
money.
Dean,
what is the definition of a crash out on TikTok?
You every single time you join my life would be a
okay, great. That's not a definition. What is the definition of a crash out? I would like to know that.
You going batshit crazy.
Wow, look at you, dude. Okay, me.
Better off than
okay,
you.
Cool. So the definition of a TikTok crash out is me.
Yep.
I don't understand that. So it's the letters M-E What is me? What does me mean? Can you tell me what the definition? If somebody started cussing and being really upset because they were losing a debate, or just like totally going off topic, or when you're muting them, trying to unmute, all this, that would be like a crash out, right?
Stephanie, thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Go ahead.
I haven't done that once. So this is what the TikTok chat needs to understand amongst almost 13,000 people is Dean messaged me earlier today and said, I need to make money. Liam, come in. You know the strategy. Because he gives me 50% of all of this, just so the chat knows.
You know, the thing is if I actually did that, then you wouldn't air
You
it
do
out
do
live.
that. Dude, don't lie. Don't lie.
Okay, show the screenshot.
You messaged me earlier on Discord.
Oh,
okay.
on Discord?
Yep.
Then go on pause. Go
But
to
it
your
was,
Discord
but,
app.
but,
Yo, check
but
this
listen,
out.
but it
check
was
this out.
But
check,
it was a,
check this
but
out.
it was a.
I'm gonna keep my hands in the air so I can't like go to Discord on my computer or phone and like delete it. Go to Discord on your phone, screenshot the message, come back to live, and show it on the green screen.
My camera's broken. It won't work.
Wait, your camera doesn't need to work because it's a green screen feature. I'm gonna keep. I'm
doesn't- no, it doesn't.
I'm gonna keep my hands
My
in the
green-
air. I'm gonna
my
keep my
green
hands in
screen
the air so I
won't
can't
work
delete
today.
it. Wait, why?
It doesn't work today. I tried it earlier.
Wait. So what particularly makes
It's
it
a
not work?
TikTok glitch right now. My green screen's not working for my account.
Oh, well, what do you mean by that?
I don't know. It's just a glitch. TikTok's having some issues, but
Wait,
as well as I do.
Wait. I have a second way. Are you in my Discord?
I said it was a private message.
I
through
know, but
Discord.
are you in my public Discord?
So, I can't remember. You have so many accounts now. I'm not sure which one.
Check this out. So my public Discord join code is my name. It's Dean.
See what I'm fucking doing right now,
Listen to me.
dude?
Listen to me,
Listen,
Liam.
how do you know
Listen
that
to
I'm
me.
lying? How does the chat know-
Listen to me, Liam. My public Discord join name is Dean.
Am I lying?
Yo, Liam. Sorry. I'm just gonna have to.
Am I lying?
I'm gonna have to. Yes, of course. I'm gonna have to keep my hand in the air because I don't want anybody to think like I'm deleting anything.
Why do you
off
keep
Discord
muting
notes.
me, dude?
Because I'm trying to speak uninterrupted. Just listen to me. Don't interrupt me.
You're angry, dude.
Okay.
You're angry.
Here's the easier way to mute you without anybody thinking that I could possibly be going to Discord on my phone.
He's angry.
So I'm just trying to describe something. My public Discord code to join is my name. It's Dean. So what I want you to do is I want you to go on pause. I want you to go to the Discord app on your phone. I want you to go to these supposed DMs with me. I want you to screenshot them. And since very conveniently your green screen feature here on the app isn't working, which by the way is a total bullshit lie, I want you to screenshot the messages. I then want you to join my Discord. You will be auto-verified. Mods, if you're listening, be on standby. Look for Liam's account joining the Discord. Auto-verify it and give him the ability to post pictures. And then I want you to post a picture of the DM in the general chat. Can you do that for us?
I'm not going to join your Discord. I said I don't know which one I'm on.
You would literally
but
expose
I'm not
me
going to
as a
join
fraud.
a new. I'm not going to join a new. Which one do you want me to join?
The join code is Dean. DEAN. Expose me as a fraud.
Yeah,
In
you're
my
gonna have
career.
to. I'm gonna have to be a grifter if you're gonna do this. You're gonna have to give me $1,000 right now through Venmo.
Wait. So you're saying that I
want
to
to play your games.
$1,000
I want
in
to play
my
your
career?
games. So give me $1,000, then I'll thank you for it.
Wait, so it just seemingly right. It seems.
Why
like you're
are you
lying.
muting me?
Because I'm exposing you as a fucking liar. You
Give
got
me a-
so,
no.
You got so mad at people sending donations to me.
No, you're not.
You got so mad at people sending donations to me that you then try to flip the script and make it seem like I'm the bad guy, right? Because that's how sincerely pissed off you are. That I like DM'd you prior to joining this live, telling you to join it to do this. So then I'll send you 50%, right? First and foremost, if that was genuinely a deal that we made, then you would never say that on live because that would obviously make you forgo your 50%.
I want my conscience
Fucking idiot.
clear.
Right?
I want my conscience to be
if you
clear.
wanted the conscience to be clear, then you wouldn't have accepted this this apparent deal that existed in the first place. Fucking idiot. Third reason, if these DMs were real,
Hang on,
right?
stop,
If
cuz.
these DMs were real, then you'd be able to turn on your green screen and show a screenshot of them. Fucking idiot. And even if you were telling the truth, right, when you said that we DM'd about this and that your green screen feature on TikTok is broken, then you would be able to go to Discord, take a screenshot of it, join my public Discord, join code is Dean, and then drop a screenshot in the chat to prove to us all that I'm a fraud. You fucking idiot. But you can't explain why you would say that on live if the deal was real, considering the fact that they make you forgo your money. Your explanation being that you wanted a clear conscience obviously is insufficient, because you could have had a clear conscience if you didn't apparently accept this metaphorical deal, this hypothetical deal, like earlier in the day. And if this deal did exist, then you would be able to bring it up on TikTok, show it on a green screen. You can't explain why the green screen feature is down for you apparently, but down for nobody else. And then third, you can't explain why you're unwilling to go on Discord, screenshot our messages of this hypothetical deal.
Okay, hang on a
join my
second.
Discord and post the screenshot. Admit that you're lying.
Okay, hang on. Listen.
Admit that you're lying, Liam.
Dude, can I speak?
Yeah, if you admit that you're lying.
I was trying to make. I'm going to come clean. I was trying to make a point about crashing out on TikTok. Okay. Now listen. I admit that I do not have a business deal with you, and Dean does not have a business deal with me, or I'm making money from him. Now stop and listen. I showed the chat what a crash out was. You started cussing at me. You started muting me. You did everything that I told you what a crash out was. That's how easy I can manipulate you. And I also showed the chat without sufficient evidence. Calling somebody out for something can look really bad, and you can get a lot of people on your side, but without evidence, it's not true. Okay? So I made a lot. Listen, I did a lot of this just for the chat to see how you are an absolute crash out. You didn't need to crash like that, dude, at all. But I proved what a crash it is, and I have.
So what you proved is that Trump supporters are willing to.
Now you're muting me again.
What you proved is that Trump supporters are willing to believe things without evidence, i.e., the 10 Trump supporters in the chat that were spamming W guest. And what you also proved is that I'm pretty good at debating, and I'm able to successfully debunk points made, regardless if they're about Trump and political, per what we usually discuss, or if they're not about Trump and not political, such as this wild left field claim that we made a deal to send you money. In less than 60 seconds, I was able to give you 4 points of contention that definitively proved your claim false. So thank you for proving that Dean is a good debater that could debate against anything, political or non-political. And thank you for proving that Trump supporters, i.e., the 10 to 20 people in the chat that were spamming W guess when you're talking about that lie, are willing to accept anything without evidence. You tried to prove that I'm a crash out. All that you proved is that Trump supporters are dumb, and Dean Withers is a good debater.
So, Dean, have I cussed at you once on this live?
I don't know. I don't think I hear you use cuss words a whole lot.
And I've honestly have not spoke you. I mean, if I have, I didn't honestly want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to overspeak you. I'm going to thank my donors, and then I'm going to kick you and move on to the next guest. Stephanie, thank you so... Well, there's a cuss word. You lost your end game. Crash out, apparently, according to your standard. Stephanie, thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for your love, Stephanie. Show some love to Stephanie down below in that chat for the $50, who says, I got to get out of here for the day, Dean. Thank you. I'm in the Twilight Zone. Good luck to everybody who showed bravery today. Oh, Stephanie, I'm really happy that you're able to join us today. Show some love to Stephanie down below in that chat for the $50. I'd also like to thank Alex for the $11. Thank you so much for your kindness. He says, this guy thinks your viewers are MAGA and will fall for anything he says. The only people that fell for it were the MAGA supporters in the chat. Jojo, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Emily with the $2. Rion with the $5. Benjamin with the $1. Grace with the $1. And Kirsten, thank you for the $20. He says, can't imagine how miserable this guy's life must be if he's a grown man who's on vacation with his family, but he feels the need to crash out on a 21-year-old on a TikTok live. Dead fucking ass. Gabrielle, thank you for the $10. She says, sending this because a guest told me to. Benjamin with the $5. Abby with the $5. Haley with the $5. Thank you so much for the love. And oh my God, Ivy with another $100 over on Venmo, who says, shut up and take my fake money. Ivy, okay, you can stop, Ivy. Dude, you showed way too much love. Thank you for another $100. Show some love to Ivy down below in that chat for the $100. You were so fucking kind. Oh my God. Show some love to Ivy down below in that chat. Thank you so much for your kindness. Huge. Ivy W, thank you so much. Liam.
Yeah, can I say something real quick? Abel, you sent me a cash app on Thursday, Abel. Thank you so much for the $5, Abel. Seriously, I put it in my bio. People, you can actually start cash apping me now if you agree with what I'm saying. I'm partaking in it, but I've been doing the same thing. Abel, thank you so much for the $5. I told you that I would shout you out on the live stream. Also, I have something else to say. Audrey Rain, you've been messaging me. Engage. Audrey Rain, if you have something to say to us, Join the group chat. Join the group chat, Audrey Rain. You're messaging us, acting like you're tough, acting like you want to say stuff. Join the group chat. Join the group chat. You're scared to 2v1 us. You won't do it.
Hey, Brock.
But thank you so much, Abel, for the $5. Seriously, thank you, Abel.
Hey, Brock. Do you have any good reasons why you support Trump as president?
Yeah, I think that he's been fixing our country and making our country stronger. Well, we need stronger people in our military. We need our country to be strong, and we need the whole world to recognize us as a good country. And like, we need to make sure that people are becoming Christian. I mean, I think that we need to make sure everyone's Christian overall.
Okay.
So
I would argue that international strength starts with domestic cohesion. And the reason why I would argue that
What's that?
I would argue that international strength starts with domestic cohesion. And the
I
reason
don't know what that is.
Cohesion is 3 syllables. Okay, I forgot. I need to keep it to 2 syllables or less with you.
What is it? Cohesion?
Yeah.
Okay. She just messaged me back. Audrey Rain.
Let me use another word with less than 3 syllables. Okay. So I'd argue that international strength.
Audrey Rain, stop messaging me.
What?
Brody Farenthold sent me $1 in Cash App. Thank you so much, Brody Farenthold, with the $1 in Cash App. Audrey Rain, stop messaging me right now or you're getting blocked. Seriously.
Brock, I'm either going to engage with your argument or move on. I do want a legitimate debate. So, can you just listen to me while I try to respond to your position?
Yeah.
So, I would argue that international strength starts with domestic cohesion. Now, you don't know what the word cohesion means, so I'll just use another word. I'll just say strength. So, I think that international strength starts with domestic strength. And I'd argue
I just got another one. Isabella Diaz, $3 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Isabella Diaz. Do I wait until after a while and then I thank them all, or do I thank them as they send it in? Because I don't want to cut you off every time. If I start getting a lot of Cash Apps, I mean. Seriously, I'll wait a while, but go ahead, tell me. I'll wait until the end.
Yeah, this is going to be my last chance. This is going to be my last try with you. You said that Donald Trump makes our country stronger on the global stage. I said that I think that international strength starts with domestic strength. And I think that Donald Trump is terrible for the domestic strength of our country because he serves as an unprecedented attack on the cohesion of the American people by creating and manufacturing diversity amongst the electorate base in this country every single day. You know, him calling for the death of his political opponents reduces the level of domestic cohesion that our country has. Him, telling his Trump supporters to insurrect the Capitol, telling them to fight like hell, leading to J6, reduces the level of domestic cohesion that this country experiences. Him focusing on the politics of arguing that undocumented immigrants are all violent criminals that have escaped prisons, gangs, and mental institutions that purport a threat to this country, even though in all reality they only help this country and they commit less crimes than citizens proportionately. Serves as a threat to the cohesion of this country. And for these reasons and many more, our country is very weak domestically. And when our country is very weak domestically, I just don't see how it could be strong internationally.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you respond to that, please?
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense overall. Whatever her name is keeps messaging me. I want to block her. It's popping up on my screen while I'm talking to you, and it's actually incredibly annoying. She's in the live stream now. She heard me say her name, and now she's obsessed, and she keeps telling me to say her name. But I think that makes sense. She says, "Can I block her real quick or mute her real quick?" She keeps messaging me. It's ridiculous at this point. Stop it.
Just ignore the shiny little notification bubble at the top of your phone. Are you fucking four?
Okay. But then
do you just jump at anything?
Okay, I'm back. But Isabella, thank you again for the other 2. I got another 2 from Isabella.
Okay, respond to the argument that I gave you,
think
please.
it is good. I think that is good. I think overall it makes sense. Like you said something about deporting people, or you said something about what'd you say? You said something about
Oh my God, get out of here. Bella, do you support Trump?
Dean, I wanted to bring to your attention that Trump has recently signed a bill saying that states can't regulate AI, which I think is very harmful. Anyways, have a good day.
You have a good one, Bella. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Terrible, terrible bill. Moving on to the next guest, everybody. Just do give us a minute while we get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the box. Okay, honestly, I don't think I could do like Brock back to back from Liam. You know what I mean? Honestly, I think it's like either like Brock or Liam, not Brock and Liam. You know what I mean? I don't think I could do like Brock and Liam. What's up? Do you support Trump?
You're so cute. I love you, Dina. I love you. You're so cute. Please.
Moving on to the next guest, guys. Only hop inside of the queue if you're an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, please. Everybody, just do be patient. Everyone, just do be patient. Welcome into Sport Trump.
Hi, I do actually, because but not for the reasons that you think. If I can open like with a comment. First, I hope you're having a great day. It's nice to be on here. Thanks for inviting me. So I think it's not that I support him fully, but I think he's the lesser of both evils. Like I think that what he is doing is a whole lot better than what the left would do for our country.
Okay, yeah.
What do you
So,
think?
well, I mean, I think that you're wrong, and I'm down to debate it. Just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 24,
And what year were you born in?
2000.
Perfect. Well, what month?
December 17th is my birthday,
Well,
actually.
happy
very
early
close.
birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. You're good. You're good. And are you American?
I'm Canadian, and I live in Mexico, actually, and Russian. So I have a
So
lot of.
you're a Russian Canadian that lives in Mexico.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we usually only debate Americans on the live.
Oh, dang. Sorry, I didn't know that. I think
But
that I have a lot to contribute, though, if you're down.
I'm willing to make a tentative special exception for you
Awesome.
because Donald Trump is attacking Canada. Donald Trump is attacking
And Mexico.
and Donald Trump is attacking Mexico.
Yeah.
So I'm just very, very curious why a Canadian Mexican, or more so, I mean, a Canadian that lives in Mexico, would support Trump as president in the United States of America. I'm curious. So why do you think he was the lesser of the two evils, considering all of the evilness that we've seen from him in his administration? From
Well,
the
it's
last
definitely
11 months.
a conservative party, right? So obviously, it's more, how do I say it, brutal and direct and about power. And I think that actually Donald Trump has plans to militarize Mexico because of the crime that's going on here.
Right.
And we in Mexico, we live under a left government right now, and things are just horrible. So I think that the fact that as a country in Mexico, that we're under the power of a left government, and also the gang violence is out of control, and that we're looking for help out from a conservative government in America, I think that has a lot to do with it, because we're seeing the downfall of leftist parties in Canada, because Canada was liberal and Justin Trudeau literally stepped down. Right now in Mexico, things are terrible with the leftist government. And I think that from a societal view, with the mental health crisis, with the drug crisis in America, that I think that a liberal government would only promote that.
Shit. Honestly, I shouldn't have been looking at my phone when you were yapping. I'm sorry. That was really disrespectful of
okay.
me. Usually,
No, don't worry.
Usually I'm like really good at tracking while I'm looking at my phone, but like it
Uh-huh.
was. Chad, I'm confused. There's a couple people in the comment section spamming "huh" as well. I think I need to be a better.
Okay,
host.
my point is that
Yeah, sum out the
Mexico
point.
is a leftist government. Canada was a leftist government.
Mhm.
Both countries under a leftist regime
Yeah.
have been failing. And
Mhm.
right now, Mexico, under the leftist government, there has been increased rise in crime, actually the most we've seen in history.
Yeah.
And right now, the Donald Trump, is planning to bring American military into Mexico to
Mhm.
fight that. under we have
You're giving me the easiest slam dunk ever right now.
why?
Yeah, because objectively, right? If we want to use like standards of measures such as average GDP per capita, reported levels of happiness, wealth distribution, or economic mobility, the most successful and thriving countries on the face of planet Earth have liberal governance. Think about the Nordic countries. Think about the Nordic countries a lot. And inside of the Nordic countries and a lot of countries in Europe, we see the highest level reported rates of happiness, the best means of wealth distribution, highest
But
level of
those are
economic
smaller
mobility,
countries.
average GDP per capita, and they have liberal government. So if you want to look at the governance of Mexico and the governance of Canada and arbitrarily argue that they're failing, which I don't think that you'd be able to justify with good reason, or
Oh,
attribute to the
100%.
liberal policy of the governance.
Oh,
Well,
100%.
we could just look at the broad, sweeping global stage, and take a look at Finland, take a look at the other Nordic countries, take a look at a lot of European countries. Observe that objectively they report higher levels of happiness and their socioeconomic conditions are better. And I could then take away that
No,
we
I
need
don't
to
think
emulate
so.
the social democratic standards and models that are used within these Nordic countries inside of America. Now,
Well,
a
we can
second
say
way,
that for both
can I
sides.
finish?
Sure, of course.
Now, a second way that I could go about refuting the positions that you're granting me is just to simply point out that the left isn't a monolith. Okay? One person on the left could advocate for significantly different policy than another person on the left. I mean, think about it. Centrist, left-leaning Democrats that support Israel, American imperialism, and in many
100%.
scenarios, even like the war machine, are technically on the left in my mind.
Can
the
I
same
ask you
way
something real
that a
quick?
communist is broadly considered to be on the left. Now, do you think that a center left-leaning imperialist Democrat would advocate for significantly different policy than a communist?
No,
Abso-fucking-lutely.
100%.
So
Yeah.
then we wouldn't say that because the center left-leaning imperialist Democrats' policy is bad, that therefore communism is also bad, considering the fact that they're broadly considered to both be on the left. The same thing would be true of the right. Fascists,
Exactly.
the Nazis, they're the far
Yeah.
right. So using your own logic, I could sit here and say that because Hitler was on the far right, you shouldn't vote for John McCain because he's a Nazi.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get your point. Can I ask you something really quick? Do you support Israel?
No.
All right.
I'm guessing that you do.
I don't. I don't like the juice. I don't know if I can say that on TikTok.
Okay.
But
So we need to talk
I'm
about
sorry.
that. We need to have a conversation about that. It is valid to not like the state of Israel because they're a terrorist ethno-expansionist state. Okay? Hell-bent on the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, Palestine, and the surrounding Arab nations considered to be in a part of the quote-unquote greater Israel. But what we can't do is equivocate between the immoral goals of the state of Israel and all Jewish people.
Why
all
not? They all
Jewish
follow the
people-
same. They follow the same Talmud. They follow the same laws. Do you know what the Talmud says about the Gentiles, us, non-Jewish people? That we should all, you know what?
And you know what the Christian Bible says about the Amalekites, non-Christians?
What?
That the Christian God wants them all to die. In 1 Samuel 15:3, the Christian God commanded, not condemned, the genocide of all Amalekite individuals, including
But we're not
men, women, and
Amalekites.
children.
Just like non-Christians are not considered Amalekites.
So your argument is that if there's something
But Gentiles are.
So you're saying your argument is if there's something inside of the scripture that you think personally condemns you, right? Well, then you're going to hate all people of that group.
Okay, forget about the
Right?
scripture then.
What about just
let's talk
personally
about
condemning anybody? Okay.
Uh-huh,
Are
okay.
you arguing that because you're not an Amalekite, you don't think that all Christians are immoral? Because even though it is the case that in the Christian scripture, 1 Samuel 15:3 calls for their genocide. Oh, and then
Okay.
second of all, by the way, in all major, and this is a really important point here, in all major Abrahamic religions, we could find scripture that either through the lens of a particular fundamentalist interpretation or on its face is insane. Okay?
Yeah,
We'll do this with the
agreed.
Christian Bible real quick. 1 Samuel 15:3 called for the genocide of the Amalekite individuals. Let's see here. Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 says that it's okay for Israelites to enslave non-Israelites. That is canon in the Christian Bible. That's the Christian God. Okay?
But that's not
In the
relevant to modern
Quran,
day,
in the
whereas
in
the
the in the
Talmud
Quran,
is.
in the Quran. So in the Quran as well, you know, in the Hadiths on the face value, we could learn about Prophet Muhammad, you know, sleeping with, raping. Sorry, not sleeping with, not having sex with, raping 9-year-old Aisha, with the historical context of the you know, Greco-Roman society that, you know, Jesus came from. We could learn that Mary was probably around 13 when she was impregnated. All right. So we could look at every single major religion. We could look at the Christian Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. We could look at the Talmud. We could look at the Quran and Hadiths. And through the lens of a particular fundamentalist interpretation, we could interpret these texts to be incredibly immoral. We could interpret these texts to be incredibly harmful. We could interpret these texts to be incredibly exclusionary to non-fundamentalists. But most Christians, most Muslims, and most Jewish individuals do not hold to those fundamentalist interpretations. I could tell you with certainty that most Christians would not argue that slavery is sometimes okay, even though Leviticus says so. I could almost guarantee to you that most Jewish individuals do not think that you are lesser than because you are not Jewish. I could almost with certainty argue that most Muslims, right, hold on to an interpretation of Aisha's Hadith that doesn't imply that she was a minor, hold on to an interpretation of the Quran that also doesn't imply that slavery is sometimes okay. And I think that that's the fact that we need to recognize. It's not isolate, condemn, and criticize everybody of one religion like you're doing with Jewish individuals. It is isolate and condemn fundamentalist interpretations of all religions while making the common sense reduction that vast majority of these religions do not pertain to and hold to those fundamentalist interpretations.
Okay, well, the difference between the Talmud and the Bible is the word of God, a gospel, and the Talmud is a book of law. So it is a law that all Jews follow. And let's take away the Talmud and the Bible for a second, okay? Have you heard of the practice? I think it's called mitzvah pe.
You're very uneducated. You're very uneducated. The
But
gospel
I'm
and the Bible as a
asking you.
whole has moral law in it.
Okay, great, but
Can you recognize that? Can you recognize?
Of course, but moral law
can you also
versus-
recognize that even the gospel has moral law in it? Like when Jesus is talking about, the golden rule, that's a moral law. In later books in the New Testament, we learn that faith without works is dead. That's a moral law. That moral law finds its way into all religious texts, right? And that was just an incredibly stupid point for you to make, arguing that the gospel doesn't include moral law, but the Talmud does. The gospel includes
the
moral
book
law.
is-
See the difference between Talmud.
It's a religious
the
law,
difference
not a
between-
moral law. It's not a moral
difference-
law, it's a religious law.
What's a religious law?
That everyone a part of that religion, as in Jewish, follows that law. A moral law
why do
is
they-
something
and why do they
between
follow
good
them?
and bad. It's
And-
something
and
that
why do they follow
people
them?
can take
And why should
What?
they follow the laws?
because that's their systematic religion.
What about the
Because there would be
systemic
punishment. There would be punishment in their
punishment from
religion
whom? Punishment from whom?
from the rabbi.
From the rabbi. Okay, so you're going to
Yes.
get punished by the rabbi. And why would the rabbi punish you for breaking these laws?
Well, because you're breaking the law. Why do the police punish you when
But
you
why
break
are
the
the
law? It's
laws
the same
important?
thing.
Why are the laws important to the rabbi?
I guess because those are the fundamentals of their religion.
But what do you mean when you say fundamentals of their religion?
I mean that it's the fundamentals law of their religion.
But where do those laws come from in accordance with
But
their religion?
anyways,
No. Where do
they come from the Talmud.
No. They don't come from the Talmud. Okay,
They do.
come from their conception of the Abrahamic God. Okay.
No, they come from the Talmud. The Talmud clearly is the book of law, and they have laws stated. But anyways, I'm making another point,
The
so we
authority,
can go back and forth.
The
but that-
authority that the book of Talmud has would be infallibility from their conception of the Abrahamic God.
Okay.
Can you agree?
But moving. No, I don't agree. But
wait,
let's
you
agree
don't
to
agree?
disagree.
Wait.
No.
So you're arguing that that Jewish individuals find some standard of law, right, insofar as what informs us of what we should or shouldn't do, rooted outside of their conception of God. You are incredibly uneducated. See, you shouldn't be talking about these things when you don't know these things. This is where
No, but I
anti-Semitism
do.
is breeded from. You don't know these
Okay,
things at
then
all.
another question.
You just got
I have another question.
You just got shush. If you knew about these things, then you wouldn't be trying
Yeah,
to
but you
ask
keep
another
going on
question.
about the same thing.
I'm not going on
and-
about the same thing. I'm trying to educate you because you're wrong.
But I'm not wrong because it's a thing. This is a
So
debate.
then you'd be willing
though.
to talk
It's
about
not
it.
about because
So then you-
religion is
so then you
something
wouldn't be
and the
rushing
book
to
of
move
law.
on to the next question.
It's because it's
But
okay.
those laws come from their God.
Okay, sure, but they come
Right?
from the people, the prophets.
Right.
The prophets. They
but
come
what
from the
is a
prophets.
prophet?
A follower and a believer of God.
No,
But
that
it
is not
comes
what a
from the
prophet is. A
Yes,
prophet
it
is
is.
not merely a follower and believer of God. Would you therefore argue that all Christians are Christian prophets since all Christians are followers and believers of the Christian God?
We're disciples.
Answer my question, please. Yes or no?
No, no.
No.
We're disciples.
Okay. Okay. So therefore, admit it that you said some stupid shit 30 seconds ago when you
But
tried
why?
to suggest that a prophet is a mere follower of a religion.
Okay, then define what a prophet is for me.
After you admit that that was a stupid definition.
But why is it? I don't think it is. So prove me wrong.
I already did because I just asked you if
You
we
literally
are-
didn't.
I did. I just asked you.
You asked me a question.
And your answer to the question proved you wrong. I could explain how.
Sure, go ahead.
Because your answer to the question contradicted your definition of the word prophet. Okay? Because you define. Let me know when you're done.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
You define the word prophet as a follower of a religion.
No.
How did you define the word prophet?
In the Jewish religion, because we can't categorize every religion with the same thing. Like Christians are Christians, Muslims are Muslims, but you're not going to be like, okay, a Christian is a Muslim
Okay,
because
you're not going to tell me, so we're just going to listen back on tape. That's fine. We got the VOD. Let's listen. All Christians are Christian prophets since all Christians.
No, because religion is
so then you
something
wouldn't be
and the
rushing
book
to
of
move
law.
on to the next question.
It's because it's
But
okay.
those laws come from their God.
Okay, sure, but they come
Right?
from the people, the prophets.
Right.
The prophets. They
but
come
what
from the
is a
prophets.
prophet?
A follower and a believer of God.
No. A follower and a believer of God was your definition of the word prophet.
Of
So if
their
your
God.
definition of the word prophet is a follower and believer of God, therefore all Christians would be prophets, since all Christians are followers and believers of their God. And you deny
Because
that.
we believe
And then your
in Jesus,
response-
though, and they
and then your
they
response-
deny the
Wait,
the
Jesus
Messiah,
is divine,
so it's
right?
different.
Jesus is God,
and God is Jesus.
So
We are
you're a
called
follower and
Christians.
believer of God,
Of Jesus
and Jesus is
and
identical to
God
God,
and the
right?
Holy Trinity.
Oh wow, you're a
So
fucking
our-
heretic. You just said Jesus and God. Jesus is God. You just denied the Nicene Creed.
Jesus
you just
is the
denied
Son
the
of
Trinity.
God. Yes, God is in Jesus and Jesus is in God, but Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is not God. God is in Jesus, but Jesus is the Son of God.
I'll help you out. So Jesus is the Son of God the Father,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
Jesus is God the Son.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so Jesus isn't the Son of God because the typical
No, Jesus is the
conceptions-
Son of God.
Let me help you out here. The typical if we want to discuss Christian apologetics surrounding the Trinity, Christian apologetics surrounding the Trinity typically treat the term God as a non-univocal term. Okay, so we use God in like multiple different ways, and when we're having a
No,
conversation,
there's only
surrounding-
one God. We don't use that, actually. Maybe you use that, but we don't. There's one God.
You're not following me. I'm not saying that there's not one God.
Well,
I'm-
you're making false statements. You're saying
Dude.
that we use it in multiple ways, and I'm
Yes,
correcting you
yes,
and telling
yeah,
you that's
dude,
not
dude,
true. Yeah, true.
I'm not saying that there's more than one God by arguing that following a Christian apologetics, you don't use the term God in a non-univocal way. You just don't know what the term univocal means. And you're jumping in here and you're not letting me finish. This is an intersect between confidence and ignorance. So when I say that you don't use the term God univocally, I'm saying that you don't use the term God the same way all of the time. There's not one strict definition of the word God. Because if you do assume
100% there is.
if you assume that there's one strict definition of the word God, well, then you'd have a contradictory mess when you say that the Father is God, Jesus is the Son of God, yet Jesus is also God.
Why?
Because if we use the same definition and every single time we define that word, then it'd be logically incoherent to say that Jesus is the Son of himself.
No. God is God. Jesus is the Son of God. And then there's a divine Holy Spirit. It's
But
really
is
not that hard
Jesus
to
God?
comprehend.
Is Jesus God?
No.
Jesus isn't God?
God is in Jesus.
Oh my God! Wait!
Yeah, he's the Son of God.
Oh no,
Jesus
Christian
is not
heresy!
God. Jesus is
Yo!
not God.
You're denied the divinity of Jesus Christ!
No,
Yo!
I'm not. Jesus is the Son of God.
Oh my
How is that hard for you to
God!
comprehend?
You're a heretic! You're a
That's
heretic!
crazy.
You're a heretic.
Okay, so are you your
Yo,
father?
yo,
Are you
listen.
your father?
No, I'm not my
Are you
father.
are you your father's son?
I am my father's son.
Okay, so then you can comprehend that God has a son and Jesus is the Son of God.
Can you name
Because
one?
you understand the
Hey,
concept of father and son,
hey,
right?
what? So, are you familiar with the ecumenical councils?
No.
Of course you're not. Okay. Well, if you were, right, then you
Jesus
know
is
what
the Son of God.
If you were, then you know what the Ecumenical Council of Constantinople was. The Ecumenical Council of Constantinople was an ecumenical council that was called by church leaders, I think in around 400 AD, I could be off on the year, following the rise of Arianism, which was a form of Christian heresy that tried to argue, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in my history, all you Christian nerds out there. Arianism was a form of Christian heresy that tried to argue modalism surrounding the nature of the divinity in relationship to the Trinity. And then the church fathers, once the schism started to occur, called the Ecumenical Council of Constantinople to clarify what the nature of the Trinity is or means. And that's where we get the Nicene Creed from. Are you familiar with the Nicene Creed?
No, also no.
Wow. Okay. So the Nicene Creed clarifies the nature of the Trinity, affirming that God the Son flows from God the Father, and then the Holy Spirit flows from God the Son and God the Father. And this is going to be more so of a Latin old school Catholic interpretation of the Trinity. But they all share one divine essence, that divine essence being God. God the Father is God in the same way God the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is
100%.
God, because God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit all share the same identical godly nature. But then they are also their own persons. So
Yeah.
they are one, but three simultaneously.
So that's
when you
exactly what I
argue,
said, that
that's not exactly what you said, because you said that Jesus
Jesus
not
is the
God.
Son and God is in him. That's
No,
exactly what I said.
but God the Father is not in God the Son, because when we
He
use
is.
it, I'm trying to explain
You
it.
just said he is, that they're one.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. So God the Father is a phrase that we're indexing in reference to the personal attributes of God the Father.
I love how you're
When we-
dissecting this Christian stuff and
when
you won't
we-
let me tell you about what I
because-
was going to say about the Jewish
can I finish?
tradition.
Can I finish?
Yeah, of course.
So the phrase God the Father is a term of reference that we use to refer to the personal attributes of God the Father. Okay? We're indexing that to his personal attributes, not the godly essence. So when we're referring to the godly essence or the godly nature of God the Father, that is something that is identically shared between God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it's not true that God the Father is God and Jesus is not God, but rather the Son of God, because Jesus is God. He and the Father are one.
Okay, well, I think that's one interpretation of it because, like, again, that like nobody can scientifically prove that or anything. So
That's not one interpretation of it. That's the only interpretation. There's very few. There's very few necessary beliefs in order to be a Christian. There's very
All right,
few of
so
them. But
can I make my point now that I-
one necessary
Okay, go ahead.
belief that you have to hold to in order to be a Christian is this nature of the Trinity. So heresy surrounding the nature
it's
of the
not.
Trinity,
It's just
in
believe in
denial of-
Jesus.
no, you have to believe that Jesus is God.
You have to believe that Jesus has risen from the dead and he's the Son of God, not that Jesus
ARBZ,
is
thank you so
God.
much for the dime again.
Nobody John
are
16:4, nobody goes to
Mormons
the Father
Christians?
except through me.
Are Mormons Christians?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. So now we see where the issue lies. So you don't think that the Trinity is a necessary component of belief in Christianity? Please point me towards one denomination of Christianity in which agrees with you?
All of them, because in the Bible
No.
verse, it's not about it's about the
No,
Bible, and
none
the
of
word
them.
says that
All
the
of them?
only way to the Father is through me, His Son, Jesus. I am the way, the truth, and the light.
So I
Okay,
just want to
so it's
clarify.
not.
I just want to
Yeah.
clarify. No, it's not all of them. If you know your church history, in 1054 AD, the Great Schism occurred, where the Eastern Orthodoxy split from Catholicism because they argued that when the Catholic Church changed the Nicene Creed, they were no longer the one true universal church, as they were engaging in heresy surrounding the nature of the hierarchy of church leaders and the filioque, or the nature of the relationship between God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So you're not right. Okay. I'm happy that I could use this as an opportunity to teach you. So there is
Okay.
not a single denomination of
Sure.
Christianity in which would deny that the affirmation of the Trinity is a necessary and core belief of Christianity.
Maybe not a denomination, but like I said, Christian. You can be Christian and like have your own beliefs. I believe in the Trinity, but not in the way that you've described it. And
You can't because it's
I'd like to
contradictory.
ask you a question.
You can't because it's
Because like
contradictory.
we've
Because in order to be a
okay.
Christian, you have to believe that God is God, right?
No,
when
100% I believe God is
but
God.
you don't believe that God is God because you don't
But I
think that
do.
Jesus is God.
No,
In
I don't
accordance
think
with the
that
Christian
Jesus
faith,
God. I think that
Jesus
Jesus is
is
the son of
God.
Okay. Well, anyways, my question to you, Dean, is
Come
are you
on,
familiar
come on.
with
No,
the
no, no, no,
why
no, no,
why are
no,
you
no.
avoiding talking about
Because
Judaism? You have so
I
much to
think that
say
you're
about
avoiding.
Christianity,
I think that
and
you're avoiding answering my question. Point me
I
towards.
think you're avoiding answering mine because I've tried to
Point
ask
me
you.
towards one single early church father, all right, which who you should care about if you claim to be a Christian.
For a half an
Point me towards one singular early church father that affirms that you could be a Christian without thinking Jesus is God.
So I've been trying to ask you a question about Judaism for
Yeah,
half
you're
an
pivoting.
hour,
You're
and you
running.
keep going on
You're
about this.
running.
So why
You're
won't you let
running.
me speak?
I
You're
will let you
controlling the
respond to the question that I
conversation to
asked.
make me look bad, and you're not letting me speak.
Listen, because
And that's not a
what
fair
you're trying to
debate.
do is you're trying to run away from this line of dialogue
No, I'm
because you're
trying to
fucking
ask
scared
you
of
a
getting proven
question. Just
wrong.
like you've
But
asked
the
me a
thing
lot of
is
questions,
you're
I'm
trying
trying
to
to ask you
you're
something.
trying to
You're controlling the conversation, and
by
that's
just
not a
simply
fair
request.
debate.
So I'm
Why
controlling the
can't I ask?
conversation.
Why can't I answer?
Oh my God, you're fucking insufferable. Jesus Christ.
It's
I'm
because you don't let me
controlling.
talk. Like, how are
I'm
we supposed to have
controlling.
a fair debate when you don't let me talk?
I'm controlling the conversation by trying to
Yeah.
maintain a style of debate in which would track a linear dialogue. Okay? So I just want to
Okay,
engage
so
in a linear
how is me
dialogue.
declaring that I'm going to ask you a question about Judaism confusing?
Well, it's not confusing, but it rather would impede on that linear dialogue because you're trying to ask me a question.
Okay, so your linear dialogue
That
is
was an
attacking
interruption.
Christianism.
Can you please stop interrupting
And
me?
sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So the problem here is that your question isn't confusing, but rather it's impeding on that linear dialogue because
Why does it have to be a linear dialogue? Because you don't want to answer my question, that's why.
Can you stop interrupting me, please?
Sure.
Okay, you understand that these are the reasons why I've muted you. So you've complained multiple times now about me like muting you. Well, the reasons why I mute you is because you interrupt me.
No, I 100% I interrupted you, and I'm sorry about that. I really find it
So then
interesting.
please stop. So then please stop talking and let me finish.
Sure.
So the reason why it has to be a linear dialogue is because that's the only productive way to conversate.
It's not.
Ma'am, that was another interruption.
Well, it's just you're saying stuff that's not true. You can have a conversation with many different topics.
So feel free. So feel free to tell me why I'm wrong once I'm done speaking, not when I'm in the middle of my sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you demonstrate to us all that you have at least the same level of self-control as a ninth grader, fucking freshman in high school? That's all I want. That's all I want. Good. So the reason why it's important to engage in a linear dialogue is so you could have sufficient time to dissect each point. Okay? So you ask me, why do we have to have a linear dialogue? Why can't we talk about multiple points at once? Because then inevitably, some of those points will be used as a cover-up to conceal a deflection away from another one of those points. The only way to have a true conversation rooted within substance, okay, where we're able to go through the nuanced specifics of each point, right, is to have a linear dialogue where we talk about one at a time. Now, before I go back to my question, I just want to first point something out to the people in the chat. I understand that there is a lot of Christians, okay, that don't like me, because there's a lot of Christians on the right. Maybe some of you guys are watching this stream right now. But what I do want to suggest to you is, in this conversation, don't let your hate for me overwhelm you seeking truth. Okay? I don't want your hate for me to get you off of the track of truly understanding the nature of the Christian church and its history and its doctrine. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing the true doctrine of the Christian church. I'm sharing the true doctrine of the ecumenical councils. I'm sharing the true doctrine of the Nicene Creed. And I'm sharing the true doctrine of what is understood by all church fathers today and historically. So if you think that something I'm saying in this conversation is wrong, surrounding the nature of the Trinity that I'm describing, the affirmation of the fact that Jesus is God in order to be considered a Christian, please go consult, your pastor about it. Go consult, Google, read about what the early church fathers, wrote about. Read through the ecumenical councils, read the Nicene Creed. But I'm not wrong on the subject. And I honestly bet that there is more educated, like Catholics, Christians that are watching the live that may disagree with me on politics that will absolutely agree with me here. But anyways, back to the question that I was asking you, because I do want an answer to this question, and this will be the last one on this specific subject. I would love it if you could point me towards a single early church father. Obviously, you care a lot about those. They're the ones who picked the canon of the scripture of the Bible, many circumstances, those that wrote the Bible too, per your belief. Point me towards a single early church father that affirms you do not have to think that Jesus is God in order to be a Christian.
Well, I don't think it speaks on that specifically. Like the Bible, I have a question for you. Cite me a verse where it says that you need to believe in the Holy Trinity to be a Christian. Because what I know from my Bible is that it says the only way to God the Father is through God the Son.
Okay.
And the Holy Spirit is something that we inherit here on earth when we become Christians.
Okay,
And that's how
understand.
but I think that it's not about believing 100% in the Trinity, more so your way of describing it. Because I don't believe that what you're saying, like, or what the person that you've cited, I don't remember exactly what it was, but how God is one and then they're also individuals. Like, I don't believe in that specifically. I believe that there is a dynamic of Father and Son. And God the Father is in God the Son 100% genetically. If not genetically, but like talking about a father-son relationship here on earth, I feel like the best way to describe it would be like, although you are not your father, you have his genes, right? But you are your own individual. So I think that there's God the Father and God the Son 100%, but we refer to Jesus Christ as the Son of God.
Well, so point number one, you deflected away from the question that I asked you. And you did give it a brief response before you deflected. Your brief response is that you don't think that the early church fathers wrote about this, that the early church fathers talked about this. That's not true at all. So some of the earliest heresies, the earliest schisms within the Christian church were heresies and schisms surrounding the nature of the divinity of Jesus Christ and the nature of the Trinity as a whole. So from like the canonization of the current scripture of the Bible in the 5th century, it was mid-5th century, I think it was officially canonized in either 441 or 451, somewhere around there, for the next 300 years. From 450 to 750, the church continued to break out into these discussions surrounding the nature of Jesus' divinity. This is probably one of the largest conversations that the early church fathers had. So when you tell me that you don't think they talked about this enough or talked about it at all, you are demonstrating that you do not know anything about the subject. You are demanding I tell you you're right on. Now, you specifically asked me to point you towards scripture that would affirm that what I'm saying here is right.
Yeah.
A lot of the people in the chat are bringing up a good verse. It's going to be John 14:1. And John 14:1, if I remember correctly, Jesus says, you believe in God, therefore you also believe in me. Now, this is
100%.
one of the many verses in the Bible that the early ecumenical councils, including the Ecumenical Council of Constantinople, referenced in the determination of the nature of the divinity of Jesus Christ and the nature of the relationship between God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. We also see other verses like John 10:30 Somebody just brought that one in the chat. If I remember that one correctly, that's when he says that the Father and I are one. And there's plenty of other verses that these ecumenical councils referenced when determining if you're a Protestant predicated on sola scriptura, the authority found in the scripture, or if you're Catholic/Orthodox, the magisterium, infallibility of these councils predicated within the infallibility of church leaders in particular circumstances. We have all unanimously, well, I shouldn't say we because I'm not a Christian. They have all unanimously concluded that it is true that Jesus is God, God the Father is God, and the Holy Spirit is God, and that God the Son precedes God the Father, and that the Holy Spirit, if you're Catholic, and most Protestants, would precede God the Son and God the Father, and then if you're Orthodox, God the Son would proceed from God the Father, and the Holy Spirit would also proceed from God the Father.
You
Right?
see how it changes?
But none of these schisms, right, that I just brought up about the procession of the Trinity, deny the divinity of Jesus Christ, deny the shared essence or nature or whatever word you want to use there of God being identical to God the Father, God being identical to God the Son, and God being identical to the Holy Spirit.
Okay, interesting. Well, about the historical, the fathers and things like that you've been talking about, no, I'm 100%. I can't debate you on that because I don't know. What my base is more so the Word of God, the Bible, because I do know the Bible pretty well, and my teachings just what I've been taught in church. But I definitely will do some more research. Thanks to you, I find it really interesting. I think you're very intelligent, and I'd like to sum this up. I'd like you to sum this up because I think like this is your point. And then if you let me, I'd like to finish with the question that I had before, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I got like 5 minutes before I got to end because I have a plane to catch. Santana, welcome in. I'm also gonna bring Matt in. I'm just
Why
gonna.
don't you want to let me ask a question about the Jews? I've been waiting for like a half an hour.
Yeah. Now's your time to ask your question about Jewish individuals. I'm gonna leave this one to Santana and Matt for now, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
Go
Hello.
right ahead. Hello. You've been dying to get this question off, so
Yes.
please make it good.
I think it is. Okay, there's a tradition in Judaism, and it's called. Okay, if I butcher the name, I'm very sorry, but I hope you can know what I'm
Wait, and
referencing.
just to verify, because I might have missed this part, are you Jewish?
No, I'm not. No.
Oh.
No.
And your faith is what again?
I'm Christian.
Santana, she's an anti-Semite.
Yeah, that's what I knew, Matt. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead with your question.
All right. Okay. So the tradition of mitzvah bepe, it's where in the circumcision, a rabbi puts his mouth and sucks the blood. You know where. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's normal and that
Who
it's
gives a
okay?
shit? I think religion
I do. I
is,
think it's.
yeah,
I
I
think
know you do
giving
because you want to
blowjobs
be
to babies is
sure. You
horrible.
wanna make it weird because you're anti-Semite.
It's.
Genuinely.
How am I
Hold
making
on,
it weird? That's
hold
their
on. You
tradition.
asked the question, so can I answer?
Sure, of course. Well, it's their
Yeah.
tradition.
Okay. No, let me answer. The point. Then I'm sure Matt might have more than this than I do, but my perspective, because you asked me the question, is I don't give a fuck because in religion as a whole, there's a bunch of customs, traditions, things that are currently and
So you're
actively
okay with a
done.
grown man
Still
putting his
answering.
mouth on a
Hey,
baby's penis, is what
listen,
you're saying.
listen. What I'm saying is that I'm
Crazy.
speaking right now, and I'm gonna mute you because I can do that, right? So we're gonna make sure that you stay shushies, right, until I finish answering your question. So the point that I'm making is I don't give a shit about the weird question that you have because I don't think it's relevant overall. But more than that, most religions and cultures have things that other people would deem to be weird as a whole. You sitting up here trying to, for some reason, use this as perpetual hate or violence towards Jewish people is just what you're trying to do because you're anti-Semite. And more than that, I mean, again, we can take a look at the different things within all religions, including Christianity, which, I grew up in, and we can talk about, the different practices that occur within Christianity. You bringing up this question about Jewish people, at least in my opinion, it has no relevance. You just wanted to get the weird hate off, but you got it. Matt, I'll give the floor to you.
Oh, yeah, sure. So basically, one thing that I'll just say is that the practice itself, right, is not held in the majority of Judaism. It is only held in certain sects of Judaism, and there have been attempts to suppress it.
Is it
But I would
Bolshevik
push
or
back.
which
I
one
would
is
push
it?
back. Hold on.
Hey,
Thank you.
Sorry,
I
it's just
would
a quick
actually push
question.
back.
Sorry.
No, no. Sorry, nope. I will push back and actually say that you clearly don't know the history of like overall people in other religions doing similar things. Because right now in Africa, there are Christians who are willing to mutilate baby girls because they want to preserve their virginity because they believe that that is what God wants them to do. Right now, there are people in Africa who will mutilate baby girls, take away their feeling down there because they believe that that is what God tells them to do. So don't give me any
Not true.
bullshit about
No,
about it
wait,
only being the Jews.
wait, hold on. Yes,
We
that's
don't
absolutely
practice
true. No, wait,
sterilization
no.
in
That's
Christianism.
absolutely
It's actually
true.
not true.
That's
They do
absolutely
actually.
true.
Yes, they
And
do.
even
Okay,
Yes,
more
so
they
do you
than
do.
have
that,
anything to prove that, please? Because I think that's just something
Talk
that you
to
just.
talk to
No, I don't
talk
want to
to
talk to
any.
anybody. I'm talking to you. You said it.
I
So do you have
said
proof?
talk to
Where's your
any
proof?
person. Talk to any
Exactly.
person in Africa, in both communities,
Oh
by
yeah,
the
because I'm
way.
gonna go talk to
Both
somebody in Africa.
communities,
Okay.
Sure.
both
So
communities,
I
both
just
Christian and Muslim.
I just found this. So this occurs in some Coptic Christian sects in Egypt, Orthodox Christians in Ethiopia, and then some Protestant and Catholic sects in Sudan and Kenya. And my source would be from also in Tanzania, Niger, Burkina Faso. My source is let's see here. What is this? If you go on Google and you type in what are religious perspectives on FGM or female genitalia mutilation,
Yes.
and this is published by the George Washington Institute. You could read about it. Other sources would include Science Direct. You could find this one.
What's that source? The one that you just stated, where I can read the religious views on FGM?
Yeah, just type in the George Washington Foundation. What are religious perspectives on FGM? You could also find another source from Science Direct. You could just look up the Jewish and Christian view on female genitalia mutilation.
Nice.
You could also find something from the NIH, the National Institute of Health, titled "Religious Differences in Female Genitalia Cutting: A Case
But
Study."
is that a Christian specific belief?
Yeah. Well,
Because
it's
I
not.
was never taught
But
that.
see,
Like,
this is the point. This is the point. When you talk about Christianity, and Dean brought it up, and this is exactly where I was going to see. I'm going to get a little personal here. My wife is Ethiopian, and her family are Orthodox Christians, and we have a lot of friends that are from a lot of different countries throughout Africa and Africa that are practicing Christians who are Orthodox, which is a different level than the religion that's practiced here within the U.S. But the point that I'm bringing this up is Dean named off multiple countries within Africa, but specifically, she has a friend that's from Kenya who actually went through this ritual as a rite of passage for Christianity. So what Matt is sitting here telling you, and Dean is sitting here citing for you as far as the information, this is not only something that has happened in the past, but it's actively still happening, and people are actively affected by that.
Yeah. I removed her just because I do have to end my stream. I gotta go start packing for a plane that I gotta hop on. But I appreciate both of you guys for joining. Shoes Nuts.
Absolutely.
They're coming up. Yep.
Yeah, you guys take care.
See you guys.
All right, take care.
See ya. Hey, for everybody that has joined in today, I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go thank a couple people here. Let me first start by thanking Johnny for the $20 over on PayPal, who says Christ is literally considered the flesh of Lord. He is God. In accordance with Christianity, Christ is absolutely God. Thank you for the $20. Shula, thank you for the $20 as well, who says I'm in class. I'm a classics student doing a dissertation on the Nicene Creed and its history, so I'm nerding the fuck out on this convo. Dude, I nerd the fuck out too. It's very interesting. Thank you so much for the $20, Shula. Show some love to Shula and Johnny. Also, show some love to Alexandria for the $20. Who says, we don't claim her if her views are very disgusting. Signed a very annoyed Canadian. Yeah, she was nuts. Thank you for the $20, Alexandria. Then Jordan and Eric, thank you for the 5. Allie with a 7. And Jordan, this came in 30 minutes ago, but I really want to thank you. Thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. You actually did another $50 too, so thank you for the $150, dude. Let's get 1,500 Jordan W's. Thank you so much for the $100. Jordan says, Jewish people and Boca, went away. Let me go and pull that one up. Jewish people, there it is. Jewish people in Boca Raton, Florida, don't agree with her. A lot of people don't agree with her. Shay, thank you for the $5. And Jordan with the $50 says, ask him why Trump is bending over for Israel, not putting taxes on tariffs then. Ask him why he gave Argentina $40 billion. Ooh, I bet that was relevant to a conversation when that came through 46 minutes ago. I'm sorry I didn't see that sooner, Jordan. And then Alex, thank you for the $11. And Jessica, thank you for the 1 penny. All right. A couple people over on Venmo. David, appreciate you for the 5. Mila, thank you for the 10, who says she's clueless about Judaism. Talmud is actually just discussions, interpretations, and debate found in the Torah. Yep. Thank you for the $10, Mila. Corey, thank you for the $10, who says I'm Jewish and anti-Israel. How dare she classify us under one idea? Audrey with the $10, who says I'd probably watch a Brick and Gag segment for one of your shows. I'm married to a MAGA, by the way, and it's a challenge on the daily. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that, Audrey. Thank you for the $10. And then let's see here. Nicholas, thank you for the $20. All right, folks, we're all caught up. I'm going to hop off for the day. I got a plane to catch. So you're going to see me in a couple different Airbnbs over the course of the next couple days. I got a lot going on. Somebody in the chat asked, will Dean be live tomorrow? I don't know yet. That is undetermined. But when I do determine it, I'll make sure to let y'all know. Peace and love as always, folks. I'll see you very soon. Make sure that follow button on your way out if you're watching over on TikTok. Drop a sub. Hit that like on the stream if you're watching over on YouTube. Bye, y'all.